in town. The boys are back in town. Run It Back is back, baby. Let's fucking go. It is Lyndon Burton, Adam Schubert, Ian Hawley. We are back. Look, sorry we never gave you that Friday episode. That's going to come. Look, so Schubert had to take a break, and we had to go on hiatus. And me and Ian talked about recording. It just, our schedules never lined up. I was working. And you know what? I didn't want to record without my guy Shuby. I liked our chemistry with me, Ian, and Shuby, and it didn't work out. So now we're back, but we got some good news, a lot of good news. At the end of each episode of Run It Back now, we will choose the movie that we're doing next. We're going back and forth, baby, because we're starting off early recording. Ian has a new work schedule, so we're going to be in there. I'm going to spin the wheel. We'll let you know the movie that we're going to do in 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, y'all be ready, because it's every other week. Y'all be ready, watch that movie, and we'll review it. Also, me and Ian have been talking. Y'all like this style of Run It Back. Y'all like the anime breakdown vids. We're thinking about doing a little TV Run It Back where me and Ian will watch a season of a show, do the review of it, make it like monthly, once a month. And then, we'll try to figure that out. Maybe do 2 seasons in a show. We're working it out right now, but nonetheless, we'll be probably starting with Seinfeld, which I think is a good show to start with. And then I'm excited. So let me introduce my man, Ian. What's up, brother? How you doing? Good to have you back.
Yo, it's good to see you guys. It's been too long, man.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, we've been on hiatus for a while, trying to figure out our new schedules. I moved to Indianapolis at the beginning of the year, and then got switched to the morning shift. So now I'm basically nocturnal.
My poor guy.
You are
I haven't
Batman.
seen the sun in weeks. Yeah, I am Batman.
So what do you eat? Do you have to cook for yourself? There's no late night cuisine. Yeah, man.
Yeah, nothing's open. I wake up at I go into work at 11, so I can't go out and get lunch. Everything's closed at 3 a.m. So it's been a lot of sandwiches to start off this past month.
Jeez. Well, we'll keep you in our prayers because you're grinding. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I see it. Also joining us, my guy, co-host of Bros Who Binge, elite, not co-host, I'm the co-host, lead host of Bros Who Binge, my man, looking like Tony Stark over there, Mr. Adam Schubert. Shuby, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad that we're going to be talking about some actual cinema and not anything that is involved with Tony Stark in it. I'm not going to say that because everything
he's carrying over that. Let me tell you,
everything before Spider-Man No Way Home was good, but everything after that is just
Let me tell you, Ian, we've been really going ham on Bros Who Binge of slandering Marvel, because Marvel's been putting out a bunch of ass, and Schubert's been going in, bro. So that's where that's coming from.
Well, I mean, I'm just watching all this stuff, and then I just continuously am like, this is just not as good as it was. Besides Loki.
I like Falcon Winter Soldier, but besides that, I'm with him. 100%.
Well, I mean, I like that too, but I mean, there's been people that straight up been putting Falcon Winter Soldier last.
I saw it. I'm like, you fucking haters. What? But y'all like that. But y'all like Hawkeye? Get the fuck out of my fucking face,
and
bro.
Moon Knight? Moon Knight better than
Moon Knight not
than
that
Falcon Winter Soldier? Well, it's not better than Falcon Winter Soldier.
It's not better than Falcon Winter Soldier for sure. And come on, man. Y'all know how I feel about WandaVision. But this isn't a Marvel podcast. If y'all want that, go listen to Bros Who Binge, because me and Schubert have been talking about that for 2 weeks. And by the time you guys hear this, the latest Bros Who Binge is out, which great episode. Make sure y'all check that out. But today, look, we had planned for when the Batman was to drop, we were going to do this Run It Back. So it only makes sense for the first one for us to come back to is The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan classic. We've seen this movie millions of times. This isn't like one where, Ian hasn't seen it or Schubert hasn't seen it or I haven't seen it. This is the lexicon of comic book movies. This is the apex predator of comic book movies. This is, quote unquote, the GOAT of comic book movies. Or is it because Matt Reeves' Batman dropped? But we're going to save that for the end of the episode. I know a lot of y'all are like, are they going to do The Dark Knight versus the Batman? Yes, we will, but we have to review The Dark Knight first. That I literally have it in the notes is the last thing, and I'm not going to jump the gun like I do sometimes. But so let's start off. Shuby, give me your initial thoughts on The Dark Knight. If you remember where you were Like, I remember where I was when I first saw it, and I'll tell my story and all that, but give me your initial thoughts on The Dark Knight.
Oh, well, I mean, I thought it was like one of the best movies I had ever seen coming out of it. I mean, and the hype was real after Batman Begins, because Batman Begins was really good, and then
It was.
did with the Joker calling card. So you're like, oh, okay, well, what's next? Like, I'm pretty sure I saw it like opening weekend.
Yep, I did as well. I think I saw it opening day, or back when they used to do midnight releases. Like, actually at midnight, it was me and my dad, and like that was always our thing for real midnight releases. You had to go at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. This was before like theaters had a lot of shootings in it, and the world changed where you would go late as fuck. Now they don't even do midnight releases anymore. They just drop it at like 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock the day of. But yeah, Schubert, I totally remember that. And like, this to me was the first movie that I saw, and I was like, whoa, this is different. This felt like a grown-up movie. This felt like, oh, I have arrived. My dad brought me to like Pulp Fiction at the time. Like I'm just saying that I didn't know what Pulp Fiction was at the time, but I'm just using that now in the context of what I know back then. This is like a man's movie. This is like a dad movie. Like, my dad like didn't go with his friends to see this. He took me, and it felt real. It like, in being someone who loved Batman the animated series, I was like, whoa, that Joker's dark. And like you said, coming off of Christian Bale, I love Batman Begins, but this took it to another level. The Dark Knight, like Batman Begins falls in line with, I'd say, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It feels very like Spider-Man 2. It feels very akin to that. It feels like those movies fall in the same vein.
It was like the normal superhero movie of that era.
Exactly. Just like not average, but the top tier, because Batman Begins was really good. But this showed us that superhero movies could be Oscar films. This showed us that superhero movies could be prestige art. This showed us that superhero movies could be more than just popcorn, corny films. And when being now 27, seeing this, it still feels the exact same. Now, there are some things that I do have issues with that we'll talk about, but this movie is one that truly stands the test of time. Ian, how'd you feel about this movie? Or yes, you got something. Then Ian,
I was just saying, on the rewatch of being a lot older, doing it, you catch a lot more, and it becomes a lot more cerebral.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's what I think about.
There's a lot of stuff that, like, as a kid and growing up, I missed.
Themes.
Yeah, and seeing it as like someone who reviews movies now, I see this movie totally different, and I love it the exact same way. But Ian, what you got?
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. This movie came out in 2008, which I believe was the same year as the first Iron Man movie.
Yep. And it doesn't even seem like it. That's the thing. Like, Iron Man seems like a different world compared to this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, the style is totally different. The feeling that you have walking away from both movies is totally different. And I get it. Iron Man was the beginning of something, whereas this was already, well involved into their storytelling. But this movie was just, I mean, like you guys said, it took what everybody thought a superhero movie could be. Like, before this, the Jack Nicholson Joker was pretty much the standard of like Batman films.
Yeah.
But this took that and, took it to a whole new place that people didn't think it could go. And you can tell by how many Oscar nominations it got. The way it stood the test of time with just pop culture. People still talk about this movie as arguably the best, if not just outright the best superhero movie of all time. And the Heath Ledger, aura surrounding this movie,
still the best villain of all time.
That.
Like, and like,
absolutely.
not just best comic book villain. He's competing with like Anton Chigurh of No Country for Old Men. He's competing with Vader. Like Heath Ledger is the best movie villain of all time. He's top 5. You might not say he's number 1, but he's up there with Vader, Anton Chigurh. I'm trying to think of the other ones. The Terminator, Alien, and like just some of those legendary Hollywood villains. I would say this Joker is number 1 in my opinion, but this movie is just the fact that we're still talking about this movie now shows how good everyone was in it, how good the story was, and how good Nolan directed this movie, because Nolan's style of this movie is very, very important, because if you look at the other superhero movies, they all looked very similar. They were all shot very similar. They were shot in that Burton style of the original Batman. Like, Sam Raimi did some interesting things with Spider-Man, but it wasn't nothing pushing the ground. It was pushing the ground back then, but what Nolan did of taking it, shooting it almost like Heat, a Michael Mann film that I hope we review soon. With that first scene, it's very high pace. It's moving fast. Like this movie isn't slow. Like it's 2 hours and something, but this movie doesn't stop. I didn't realize that until I watched it today. I'm like, okay, these scenes are one after the other, like going down, and I'm like, am I writing too much? And I'm like, no. I just didn't, there's no filler in this movie. This movie's all killer. There's no slow points and it's going. I didn't realize that before.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
2.5 hours.
It doesn't feel like it though.
It's such a turning point within the superhero genre where like it changed the character of Batman a lot as well in depictions, because, you know, I guess the more serious Batman takes were animated. And then the Keaton one was semi-serious. Then you had like the caricatures of the 80s series and the caricatures of the 90s movies.
It shows that these heroes can be Oscar films, like in serious. But like
after this Nolan trilogy, the character of Batman was portrayed differently in pop culture.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Like completely changed the way that you saw Batman.
People took the Bale voice and was like, oh, that's Batman.
And Joker too.
Joker as well. Like anytime you think of Batman and Joker post this movie, and I'd say up until now with Pattinson, I think there was a definitive idea of Batman, and I think now it's a lot different. And to say it stood the test of time from 2008 to 2022 with a Batman in between there, that says a lot about what this film accomplished, because people don't look at Ben Affleck as like, some will say now they do, but like if we're gonna be real, people don't look at Ben Affleck's him as the quintessential Batman. We say he looks like it, he just didn't get the film to prove it. But this and up until this year with Pattinson, this has been the quintessential Batman and the quintessential Joker inside of Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. Now let's do should we save the Ledger conversation or should we do it now?
And what
no, we should have that conversation at the end.
At the end, we should say that later. Okay, we'll do Bale and Ledger both at the end. We'll talk about them. Let's do this now, though. How do we feel about Nolan? Like this movie to me is the one that, like, yeah, Nolan had Memento in Batman Begins and The Prestige and everything, but
I don't even know if he did The Prestige before this. Did he?
Yeah. It went Batman Begins then Prestige. This was before. Okay. Yeah, no, this is pre-Inception though. This is the movie that I think made Nolan like the rock star. Like Memento was great, Batman Begins was great, The Prestige was great, but this movie here put Nolan into a fucking like firecracker and shot him up into the sky, and like he is the guy. Like it went Martin Scorsese, whoever was in the 80s. I'm maybe like Robert Zemeckis, then Tarantino. Like he put him with those guys, with Spielberg, all those guys. Nolan is there, and like he's been that guy until Denis Villeneuve came onto the scene and started doing things. But Nolan was running like as the young movie director for so long. Ian, how do you feel about Christopher Nolan? Because to me, like he's top 5, like he has to be.
Oh, absolutely. He's one of those guys that you can't leave out when you have that director conversation. Mm-hmm. And he's earned it at this point. I mean, not only post Dark Knight, but like you say, Dark Knight was kind of that film that took him and not only elevated the superhero, the idea of what a superhero movie could be, but it elevated Christopher Nolan's career in a similar way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we get some of those later movies without this. Obviously, he would have continued to do good things, but I don't know if he would have had the same, spotlight on.
They legit.
I don't know if they would have been as big blockbusters.
On Inception,
because I mean, like
Inception
Memento was kind of like a slow build, and then he had Insomnia, which is kind of like a low key. You gotta go watch that. It was, and then it's Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight, Interstellar,
Dark Knight,
Tenet. Like,
and like the crazy thing is, Memento, it might be like one of his best movies ever, but people like are slowly get to it now post all of this. But like Schubert said, after Dark Knight, it became, oh shit, Christopher Nolan's dropping a movie, I gotta go to theaters. That only happens with Tarantino and Scorsese when you think about, and Spielberg. Like,
now Villeneuve.
And Villeneuve's in that category now. But anytime Nolan drops, Bro,
Don't do that to Michael.
Don't start, Ian. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. You know damn well I'm staying home for a Michael Bay movie. But like,
You're not
for
rushing
example,
to see Transformers 34.
Fuck no, fuck no. And the crazy thing is, Nolan's making a movie about the atom bomb and Oppenheimer right now, and that's coming out in 2023. And I guarantee you, all of us are going to see it. It's an event film. Nolan is an event guy now. And he has his guys, kind of like Tarantino has his guys, and Scorsese has his guys. He likes to use Cillian Murphy, Michael Caine. He has his guys, and I like seeing Nolan's guys return in throughout his movies. Tom Hardy's one of his guys too. Like, Tom Hardy's been in a lot of Nolan films, and the crazy thing is he's still batting 100, because if you watched his most recent movie, I think it's arguably his top 3 films. I have it up there with Dark Knight and Memento as his best film, which is Tenet. And he did it again. Like, Tenet is incredible. So it just shows how good Nolan has been. He hasn't slowed down from his first movie to his movie right now. He arguably has no misses. Arguably. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Dunkirk,
the only one that I can think of is the lowest.
See, yeah.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
What, the Dunkirk?
Don't do that to Harry Styles.
That movie's boo-boo. And I love Christopher Nolan, but that movie is like, I am not a fan of that movie. I actually like Insomnia, but Dunkirk.
I like Insomnia. Yeah.
Dunkirk just felt like good Pacino too. Dunkirk just was like compared
Harry
to
Styles acted his dress off in that movie. You don't do that to him.
I expected a different type of movie. I expected like an actual like Nolan high-paced war film where it was just him doing some artsy shit and doing one shot, like one continuous scene almost the whole time. That's what Dunkirk kind of
No, that was 1917.
I know that was 97, but Dunkirk did kind of the same thing.
Over Dunkirk, honestly.
I mean, that's fair.
Dunkirk kind of did the same, like showing the battle, and like that to me, Dunkirk felt like it was definitely multiple shots, but I didn't feel like the plot was that thick of a plot compared to like Interstellar and some of the things we're getting. It just was like, oh, okay, it's this war, cool. Nothing really interesting happened at Dunkirk.
The whole of Dunkirk, the whole event was like, what, like a 10-day thing, like where they're like, we got to go get these guys out of Europe. Like, it wasn't a big part of the war. It was just a really, turning point in the war.
And that's how and honestly, that's how the movie felt, very small compared to things like Dark Knight, Inception, Tenet, Prestige, and all this stuff. Where would y'all?
The Dark Knight is a turning point for Batman.
Yeah, Schubert, where would you rank Nolan in terms of like your all time? Is he top 5?
I think it's hard to do all that because he's still going. Fair.
I got him top 5. He's at the bottom.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just hard because we'll talk about like Denis Villeneuve. I think Denis Villeneuve is better than Nolan in a lot of sense. And
I love me some Villeneuve. I don't know if I can say, because they both have no misses, I don't know if I can say Villeneuve's better than Nolan yet, but I like that take. I do. I love Villeneuve's movies.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's where it is for me with them. Like, those are the two guys at the moment where like I literally watch anything
they drop.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. At the moment.
Yeah, same.
And, I'm not talking about people from the past.
Yeah, of course we'll watch Scorsese and Tarantino and Spielberg.
We talked about how Francis Ford Coppola is about to put out that movie. Like, I'm gonna go watch that. But I mean, like,
these guys are the active guys, and I don't really see anybody like stepping up to like battle them. Like, you got maybe Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers is doing his thing. James Gunn, Matt Reeves. You have some of these guys, but like they're not at the Nolan Villeneuve stage yet. And I'm excited to see if anybody gets there. If you're listening out there and you think if you have a director in mind, like maybe Ryan Coogler, like I said, Gunn, Matt Reeves, who else did I say? I said another person who I think is pretty big up there. Oh, Robert Eggers, Northman, all the things Robert Eggers has done. Who's the other one? The man who did Hereditary and Midsommar. Yeah. Who's that guy?
I can't remember that now.
Yeah, I can't think of that guy's name.
But I mean, Garland's one of those names.
Garland's up there as well. But the guy who did those 2 horror movies, he's up there. Like, there's some young guys coming for the throne, but like, I don't know.
Aster.
Ari Aster. Yeah, but it's gonna take It's gonna take a big person, like a superstar type of guy, to beat Villeneuve and Nolan. But I do think Robert Eggers is on a good track right now. Robert Eggers has 3 movies None of them were misses. Lighthouse, The Witch, Northman. He's getting more in his action bag. I can see Eggers going for that spot. So we shall see. But let's get into the background of this movie and let's get into the review. That's been enough talk around because we're going to talk more about the outside of this movie later with Ledger and Bale. But The Dark Knight is a 2008 superhero film directed and co-produced, co-written by Christopher Nolan, based on DC Comics character Batman. The film is the second installment in the Dark Knight trilogy, a sequel to the 2005 Batman Begins, starring Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Heath Ledger, Gary Oldman, Aaron Eckhart, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and Morgan Freeman. In the film, Bruce Wayne, Police Lieutenant James Gordon, and District Attorney Harvey Dent form an alliance to dismantle organized crime in Gotham, but are menaced by the anarchist mastermind Joker, who seeks to undermine Batman's influence and throw city into chaos. Nolan's inspiration for the film was the Joker comic book debut in 1940, the 1988 graphic novel The Killing Joke, the 1966 series The Long Halloween, which retold Harvey Dent's origin. The Dark Knight's nickname was first applied to Batman in 1940 in a story written by Bill Finger. Shout out to Bill Finger. Everybody likes to say it's Bob Kane who created Batman. Fuck you, Bob Kane. It was Bill Finger. And Bill Finger never got paid. Go watch the documentary Bill and Batman. It's one of the best things ever. I'm 100% a Bill Finger stan. Pay that man. Pay his family. Fuck Bob Kane. That's how we rocking on this pod. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go watch the documentary because Bill Finger made Batman into who he is today, made the Joker. He made Robin. He made everything about Batman. Bob Kane's Batman was blonde, had a fucking hang glider and a red suit. Get the fuck out of here. That's not Batman. Shout out to Bill Finger. That was just a little rant. It really irks me because I'm a Batman stan. Next up, the Batman was filmed in Chicago, primarily in Chicago, as well as several cities in United States, the United Kingdom, and Hong Kong. The film was the first mainstream feature to utilize IMAX 70mm cameras, with Nolan using them for the 28 minutes of the film in the beginning, which you can tell. Warner Brothers initially created a viral campaign for The Dark Knight, developing promotional websites, trailers highlighting Ledger as the Joker. Ledger died on January 22nd at 2008, some months after he completed filming and 6 months before the film's release. Considered one of the best films of its decade and one of the greatest and most influential films of all time. The film received critical acclaim for its screenplay, visual style, music score, stunts, mature themes, performances, cinematography, action sequence, and direction. The film set a number of records during its theatrical run. I'm not going to go through them because they've been all broken because of the MCU now. But at the 81st Academy Awards, the film received 8 nominations. It won for sound editing and Best Supporting Actor. Now, in 81, Slumdog Millionaire won Best Picture. I think if that Oscars happened today, Dark Knight would have been nominated and won.
Who else was there?
Bunch of trash. Go look at pull it up right now, Shubi. I'm gonna pull it up as well. It's a bunch of trash. Like when I tell you who was in Best Picture, you're gonna be like, damn, Dark Knight couldn't get nominated. You had Slumdog Millionaire, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, fucking Frost Nixon, Milk, and The Reader, bro. Come on, Dark Knight is
a decent movie. I don't think it's better than Dark Knight, but
Dark Knight is better than Milk. It's better than Frost Nixon. It's better than The Reader, and it's better than Slumdog Millionaire and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I mean, the only one of those movies that's good is Slumdog Millionaire, in my opinion. Milk, I've never seen it, but I've heard it's really good.
Both those films are okay. Ian, you like Frost Nixon? Frost Nixon's not bad. I did like
Frost Nixon, but I'm a big history guy, so
yeah,
I like movies like that.
I feel you. And
I've never seen it.
At first, before All the President's Men, I thought that was the best one. But then when I saw All the President's Men, I was like, oh, damn, Frost Nixon. I'm sorry. Even though Frost Nixon is more about Nixon and like that race specifically, whereas All the President's Men is about the scandal. So, but it's not a bad movie. I just don't think that any of these movies should have beaten The Dark Knight.
I remember that Oscars because the reason that, after Dark Knight wasn't nominated,
they started to make.
That was when they changed the whole Best Picture conversation. We're like, we got to open it up because
they had to make it 10.
Dark Knight shouldn't have been nominated
in one. They should have been nominated in one, man. And then also, which is a disgrace, is that Nolan didn't get nominated for Best Director. I don't think he should have won, but I definitely think he should have been nominated. Like, what? Come on. And, Sean Penn won for Milk. He's good in Milk, but I still think Bale should have been nominated. That's another one where Bale should have been nominated. I don't think he should have won, but the things that I think Dark Knight should have won for sure, with Heath Ledger and Best Picture, and you can maybe convince me Best Director too, but 100% Best Picture. Like, I'm sorry, those other movies aren't that good, and that's where I stand on that. Slumdog Millionaire is kind of do. I know Shubi likes it. I know a lot of people like it. Dev Patel. It's not bad, but it's not better than this shit. It's just not. Sorry. Hate me all y'all want. So just a little inside baseball. This movie started off as it was supposed to be movie 1 was Joker. Movie 2 was supposed to be Two-Face and Harvey Dent, and movie 3 and the last one was supposed to be Bane. And Riddler was going to be in the Dent one as well, because they wanted Harvey Dent to, what I always say he should have been is, you have him in one movie as a friend, and then you see the transformation in the next movie. But Nolan thought that it would have been better to combine that and save Bane as the last one, and maybe do a fourth one with Riddler, which we now know he would have done with Riddler, and probably Joseph Gordon-Levitt as like the Robin with Batman still there aging out. But just some inside baseball, and they wanted more so to have the Joker and Dent together, because Nolan was just very enthused with the idea of, okay, Joker is this all begotten evil, and he in his comic it all started from one bad day, but you don't know this in the movie, but let's have it mirror that Dent has that one bad day and turns into Two-Face, and that's how they mirror each other. And he was enthralled by the idea. I think that would have been better if, and see this, some people might disagree, which I okay understand with. I think it would have been better if you see Dent have his one bad day, but you have to know that Joker had a bad day, because Joker's origins, you hear so many different things, like the dad lie or the lie with his wife. And people like that mystery about Heath Ledger's Joker, and they think that's what makes him special. But I think the idea of showing the mirroring of Harvey Dent and Joker would have been more clear if somehow you knew Joker became this from having one bad day, i.e. the Killing Joke.
I don't know. I think the hospital scene kind of makes up for it all.
Fair.
Like,
That's
Joker's
a fair
pretty
point.
much like, I am just chaos. Like, where he tries to play like he's not some mastermind, but he's like, I am chaos. And and what he tells Batman, he's like, madness just needs a little push. Like, he's just like a chaos agent that is rolling through life to ruin everything.
And he accomplished that through Harvey Dent, and that is fair.
And also that Dent portrayed an end to Batman, and that he knew that he had to find a way to make that not happen, because he didn't want an end to Batman. So he had to push Dent over the edge.
Yeah, and get him out of there.
Stay Batman. And
stay the Dark Knight true, because they wanted to do that song and dance forever. 100%. Good point, Shuby. All right, and then the final thing I have for background is, of course, our classic casting. Who could have been casted? Some sort of casting. What if?
I went back on some of the Batman Begins stuff to get some of the characters.
Okay, cool.
That we haven't thought of. I think Michael Caine was always in play for Alfred, but for Rachel, before Katie Holmes, it was going to be between Katie Holmes, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Rachel McAdams.
Oh, I'm glad. Rachel McAdams would have been great. Katie Holmes' career went downhill. Katie Holmes, like, honestly, Maggie Gyllenhaal's ass. I'm not gonna lie, I prefer Katie Holmes, and like,
same.
Maggie Gyllenhaal's a great actress. I just thought Katie Holmes was more of the character, and her career was never the same after that. When she turned that down, she fell off.
Right. I think Rachel McAdams would have stayed with it. I think
so too, and I think Rachel McAdams would have killed it. Do you have the other ones?
Well, I have that Gary Oldman was originally thought to be a villain, and they were going to cast this guy Chris Cooper as Gordon.
Ooh, okay.
Gary Oldman went to be Gordon.
Good choice.
I
have the ones for this movie,
even though, which counts because he was in the movie.
Who?
So before Cillian Murphy was
he's gonna be Batman.
He was going to be considered as Batman, but they were going to consider Marilyn Manson, Christopher Eccleston, Ewan McGregor, and Jeremy Davies are all considered to be Jonathan Crane.
Ooh, a Ewan McGregor Scarecrow would have been interesting. Would have definitely been interesting.
So the Batman it was like I said, Cillian Murphy, Josh Hartnett, Henry Cavill, Joshua Jackson, Elon Bailey, Hugh Dancy, and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal's the one that I'm always like, man, I wish he'd have been Batman. That's the only actor, him and maybe Ryan Gosling, where I'm like, damn, I wish y'all could have been a Batman or someone involved in this type of universe. I think Jake Gyllenhaal might have done. Well, let me not say he might have done a better job than Christian Bale. That's too much. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal's Batman would have been interesting. Ian, how do you feel about some of those casting what ifs? Would you have liked Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman?
See, I just can't see Jake Gyllenhaal the same way after watching Nightcrawler. No, I just think he's the psychopath in every movie.
See, I just think a Detective Loki from Prisoners. Have you seen Prisoners, Ian?
When we will eventually.
Eventually when the wheel chooses it, the wheel of fate. But that 100% is Batman. Like when just the way he looks, the way he carries himself, that movie showed me Jake could have did it. But I get what you're saying about Nightcrawler. That shows that Jake maybe could have been a villain.
Yeah, I would have seen him as more of a mobster kind of role, like a Maroni character.
Mm-hmm. He could even maybe been Scarecrow. What are you gonna say, Schubert?
Out of all the names that are on there, the only people that could have pulled it off are Bale and Gyllenhaal. I mean, like,
Josh Hartnett wouldn't have been good.
Josh Hartnett is the only one that kind of sniffs, but like Hugh Dancy's just not gonna do it.
Cavill was too young.
Not gonna do it. Henry Cavill was
way too young. He was way too young. This was during
in the right place.
This was during the Josh Hartnett love affair when everybody thought Josh Hartnett was this guy.
Yeah,
was not a big Josh Hartnett fan.
That's why I'm not surprised he was in the mix at that time.
No, yeah, it makes 100% sense. Now you want me to give you the ones for this one?
Some of the dents and
I got all that.
And
Jokers, yeah. So Paul Bettany could have been Joker. He was one of them. Matt Damon, Harvey Dent. You got William Dafoe as Joker. Hugh Jackman, Harvey Dent. Adrian Brody is Joker, which is one that I thought we'll talk about that in a second. Liv Schreiber is Harvey Dent. Sam Rockwell is Joker. Another one that I think is very interesting. Ryan Phillippe is Harvey Dent. Robin Williams is Joker, post Insomnia, and then Mark Ruffalo is Harvey Dent. And apparently he really wanted Mark Ruffalo. It didn't end up working. He was the number one choice behind Matt Damon for Harvey Dent. And then with Joker, it was Adrian Brody, Sam Rockwell, and Heath Ledger. Honestly, I think Matt Damon would have been an incredible Harvey Dent. I just don't know if we would have gotten over the fact that it's Matt Damon. So I kind of would have preferred Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo would have been a great Harvey Dent. And then in terms of Joker,
better than Jackman.
Yeah, Jackman as Harvey Dent makes no sense to me.
No.
And Ryan Phillippe is Harvey Dent sucks.
See, I'm not thinking that would have sucked. I just don't know if he could have pulled it off.
It was during that Ryan Phillippe Lincoln Lawyer era. This is that era.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think that putting him in the mix wasn't a bad call. If I was a casting agent, I could see why a casting agent would have booked him for an audition. But at the end of the day, he just wasn't gonna cut it.
He couldn't get it. And I'm glad that Ledger got it, but damn, Sam Rockwell and Adrian Brody would have been interesting.
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things where Ledger was probably the goal, and then they had to have backups. And those were solid backups. But I mean, there's it would have to be completely different Jokers. That's the thing. Every person you would cast as Joker would have to be a completely different Joker.
Yeah, Adrian Brody would have been a little bit more psychotic, a little crazier. Sam Rockwell, I think, would have been more mobster.
Right.
But I think we ended up with
in between
the perfect mix. Yeah, I think we got the right guy for the job, though, with everything involved.
Yeah.
Even though Aaron Eckhart's Aaron Eckhart. He's the only one that's Ian, did you like Harvey Dent, or would you have liked to see Matt Damon or someone else?
No, I liked Aaron Eckhart in this role. I thought he was and I haven't seen a lot of other Aaron Eckhart movies, but I thought he was, it needed to be someone who could carry the weight of the character without
but we didn't know him.
The other characters. Yeah,
good point.
So I thought he was he did a great job with the role, but he didn't, take away from the other parts of the story.
Major players. Yeah, that's
in
a
way
good
that was
point.
distracting.
Because Matt Damon definitely would have been distracting. That's why I think Mark
Absolutely.
Ruffalo would have worked, because that's pre-Mark Ruffalo becoming like the guy that we love, but is an incredible actor. So that's the only other person I would have liked. But that's the casting what ifs, unless you had some other ones.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you want a good Aaron Eckhart movie, The Core. I love that movie.
Aaron Eckhart
it's such a good disaster film.
Bruh, Aaron Eckhart has had so many fucking duds post this movie. Frankenstein, like, oh God, Aaron Eckhart. But let's go through it. Time to do the scene. As y'all know, if you are longtime fans of Run It Back, we go through the scene rundown where we go through the scenes, discuss them. Then we pick the best scene. We have some best quotes, winner of the movie, loser of the movie, six man, best actor of the movie. And then I have added best supporting actor of the movie. I felt it was necessary, Shuby, to add best supporting actor. So it's like we give some love to the side guys.
That's Ledger.
No, but don't start that now, because I'm making a push for Ledger to be best overall actor.
Oh, well, that's fine.
I'm making that push. And I know when Ian sits his ass down and we talk about that, he's gonna be like, "Oh, look at Lennon adding categories." But I think best supporting actor needs to be added so we can have a best actor and a best supporting actor. I think they all need.
My dog was freaking out.
Yeah. Oh no, it's okay. I understand the situation. I got
you heard Lennon's adding categories.
I added a new category.
I'm upset about it already.
Why? Okay, so the categories are as follows: best scene, best quotes, winner of the movie, loser of the movie, six man, best actor / actress of the movie, and then best supporting actor of the movie. I think we got to give love to some extra actors. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's fine. I'm just giving you shit.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, let's go through the scene rundown, and then boy, I literally wrote, my goodness, the opening robbery scene that's an homage to Heat, then meeting the Joker at the end of it is straight cinema. That was cinema magic. After like seeing all the guys get killed one by one after they did their task, and then dude saying, "You know who you're robbing from, boy?" and the Joker just kills him, and then fucking he's like, "Well, I think it's time for me to kill you." He's like, "Who were you supposed to kill?" "Oh, the bus driver." And he's like, "Huh?" And then bow, hits his ass, then kills the bus driver, slides right into traffic. Such a beautiful fucking scene. One of the best opening scenes of all time.
The parts I like about that is like, so why do they call him the Joker? And it's just like sets the theme of that the mystique of the Joker in this entire film is who is the Joker.
Yep, 100%. And then I have a quote from this scene. I simply believe what doesn't kill you makes you stranger. Just a beautiful way to just get to know Heath Ledger's Joker. Ian, you got anything about this scene?
I thought literally the opening seconds of the movie was an interesting choice stylistically, because normally, like if you're seeing this in theaters, you've just seen trailers, you've seen, commercials for different products. So there's a lot of noise that's coming at you, especially while the lights are still on. And then the lights go down. You see the Paramount Pictures, title card. And then you see the Batman symbol in the blue flames. And up until they really like zoom all the way in onto the building that they're robbing, there's no sound. So
it makes it
I
super
thought that was
eerie.
an interesting choice. Yeah, it was an interesting choice to immediately build suspense right off the bat. And then you go right into the heist scene. Also, I think obviously on second watch and past that, it's easy to tell who the Joker is, but
you didn't know.
No, you did, but looking back at it, they were doing their damnedest to tell you without actually telling you.
For sure.
I mean, again, with the stylistic choices of how they shot this, and I think this is where Nolan really shines in little details like this. The Joker is the only one wearing like a colored suit. It's almost purple. It's not quite purple. It's more of like a dark blue.
Yep.
He's the only one with long hair. Which if you had seen any of the trailers leading up to this, you know what Heath Ledger's Joker looks like at this point. And some of the cuts and some of the pans that they used with the camera to zoom in on him during certain scenes again was just pointing to, okay, this guy is at least someone you should pay attention to. And then, later in that scene, he takes off his mask and you find out he's the Joker.
Voice immediately know the voice too.
And I think he doesn't talk. And when he points up, you didn't count. That was done on purpose. So you didn't know is that the Joker, is this guy just mute? But at that point, you should have known watching the movie. And when he points up, he's like, that was a beautiful moment because he doesn't let him speak. And it's like, because the moment you hear him, it's like, oh, okay, this is the Joker. And I love that guy who's pointing the gun at him. Just a great character actor as the bank guy. Thought he did a good job setting the tone. And
yeah, the last thing I have with that is when he sticks the grenade in his mouth and then it blows out smoke. It's one of those moments where you're like, okay, well, they read the source material. That's
typical Joker. Yeah. And like, it's a beautiful way to do it that way because Christopher Nolan's movie's grounded and it shows how psycho he is. But if that was animated, it would have been bang. It would have been a bang flag. And it's perfect because like, I think that would have made it a little too corny. But the fact that you have it as a smoke grenade shows that, oh, this guy's psychotic, and it accomplishes the job of the bang flag just by making it something a little more realistic. So that was solid.
I also thought the henchmen were a nice touch. Like every one of them has got an assignment. Like, okay, when this happens, you kill the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've watched Batman the animated series to any extent, dumb henchmen is like a common theme throughout that. And
Joker.
I'm just sitting there scratching my head like, okay, if they told me to kill somebody, what's to stop me from getting killed? Like, how are these henchmen not realizing it? But so I thought that was a good callback to some of the older Batman.
Fucking idiots, man.
Exactly. I mean, it makes sense with the Joker wanting to hire people dumber than him to just carry out his will.
Yep, exactly. 100%.
That's the last thing I had from that scene.
Next thing I got is I wrote funny in a different way, but very similar to the Batman. They do the scene of showing the bat symbol and going through Gotham and showing everyone's thoughts on the bat symbol and ending with Gordon on top of the thing, explaining that, I just turned it on because hopefully he's out there stopping someone and it's giving fear. Literally not the exact same, but a very similar scene to the one in the Batman. Now after seeing both of these, I think the Batman executed that scene better than Dark Knight, 100%.
Right.
Not trying to compare, but it's in there, and just the way that the Batman did it in 2022 was just a lot better, because in this movie it seems almost like a throwaway, like let's just introduce and get to Bale's Batman, whereas in the Batman itself, that was necessary. It was like it was showing who he was as a character, whereas this is the second.
Well, I mean,
movie.
It also serves a purpose in this too, to know it's similar as it does in the Batman. It's supposed to tell you, okay, so this is where Gotham is at.
Yeah,
Gotham is at the point where like everyone is wary of where the Batman is, and that makes like the folk Batman make sense when they're like attacking the Scarecrow. But what I love about when Scarecrow pops in is that he knows immediately who's fake and who's real.
And that was one of my moments. He was like, "Oh, that's not him," and he doesn't use guns. And Cillian Murphy did that beautifully. And I got a quote from that scene, because that was the next scene I wrote down. It's what's the difference between me and you and me? I'm not wearing hockey pads. And then he gets in the car and goes away. But the where he drops down on Cillian Murphy is beautiful, where just weary, he just got hit, and it shows like this Batman has just been through some shit since Batman Begins. The way he just walks over and just stumbles and then just plops on. I thought that was beautiful by Bale, showing like, oh, he just got hit by this truck. Like, it just shows like this isn't the spring chicken from Batman Begins. This is someone who's knee deep in war.
He's been in the game for a while.
Very similar to Batman.
And, true.
And the sequence that he does with fighting is like, that's what created the Arkham games.
The elbow. Not as fluid as the Arkham game, and that is something. That is something that this movie, after seeing the Batman, the fights are a lot of elbow, head, elbow, like a lot of that. But, this is the start of making great fight scenes in comic book movies, because at the time it was a beautiful fight scene. And it makes sense why Pattinson's fight scenes are so much better, because Bale laid the groundwork for that. But Love the hockey pad fake homies. Great scene. And then the dogs, man. The fact that he has to upgrade his suit to stop dogs, I thought that was a good little touch as well. Ian, you got anything on this scene?
Yes, I don't like your floodlight take comparing this between the two movies.
It's the
Not
same
a fan.
thing.
No. Excuse me. I agree that it's the same thing. But do we get the Robert Pattinson floodlight scene if we don't have this Dark Knight scene?
150,000,000%, because that's straight out the comics and straight out of Batman the Animated Series. And I think more so the way they do it in the Batman is more akin to the comic book storyline than this movie. Like 100%.
And also the reason that they focused on it so much. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I even forgot that they had done it in this one.
Well, the reason that they focused on it so much more in the Batman is because you'd literally never seen Robert Pattinson before this as the Batman.
True.
Like the floodlight is the whole, 5-minute opening monologue. Whereas you don't need that in the Dark Knight because you've already had a whole movie before this.
True. I'll give you that, but also I'll say more so the floodlight. Not only to introduce Robert Pattinson, but to introduce Gotham as a character, to show like Gotham City. And that's one thing I think the Batman has over this movie. Whereas I'm going to start giving this movie its props. This movie's Gotham it's all right. It's not, it doesn't feel as much of a character as the Gotham in the other one. And I think that's why the floodlight scene works better in the Batman, because we're seeing the people spray paint the graffiti. We see the dude with the drop head going rob the bank, and all of these people have individual fear because is he going to pop out here? And I think that's what makes the one in the Batman work so well. But this one, I like the scene, and we get my man Gary Oldman giving a good powerful monologue into the moment where, okay, Scarecrow, the dogs, all of that, badass fight scene.
Yeah, but the focus of this movie is not on Gotham. Like
it's not 100%.
You got so much Gotham in the Batman because that was the whole criminal element of the whole thing, is the mob.
100%.
Which is why they went so much farther into Falcone and Maroni in that movie. Whereas this movie is about the Joker and Batman. So it's not about you get the mayor, you get the DA with Harvey Dent, you get a lot of Maroni for, how little he actually.
But see, when I say,
the story.
Not to cut you off, but when I say it's about Gotham, I don't mean necessarily the people inside. I just mean like the city itself feels lived in. It feels like the city feels like a character in itself. Whereas this one, I can tell I'm in Chicago. I just can. I feel like I'm in these American cities where when you're watching the Batman, I don't know where the fuck we're at. We're in Gotham over there. And that's not like a slight to this one, because you're right. This is 100% about Batman's journey versus this psychopath that he's never faced before in the Joker. And it's the most beautiful telling of that relationship. So I'm gonna give this movie some props, but yeah, no, it's Chicago. I get it. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying if you want more Gotham, it really would have intruded on the story here.
Fair. Yeah. That's fair.
You'd have to make it like a 4-hour movie.
That's fair. All I'm saying is just
never watch it.
Make it feel lived in, Nolan. That's all I'm asking for. But the next scene I have on the list is, let's see. So after the hockey pads, I think I go straight into.
Well, I do like the continuity of No Wayne Manor.
Yeah, I do like that as well. That he's in his that he's in the penthouse because it got destroyed from Batman Begins.
The shipping container.
Mm-hmm. I did. I dug that a lot. No, you're right. So next thing I got is
Harvey Dent in the courtroom.
Oh, I see. No, I gotta go. Batman Meets with Gordon to talk about the Joker to set it up. I thought that was a good little setting up with Commissioner Gordon, like getting to see, okay, their relationship has grown from the first one. They trust each other more. They've been fighting. Just a good little in between. But you're right. After that, we meet Harvey Dent for the first time in the courtroom, where the guy tries to kill him, and Harvey Dent takes the gun and punch him. And I just think that moment right there where you see Harvey not flinch, take the gun, punches him, shows you that, oh, this lawyer is serious, and this lawyer ain't no chump. So I think it was a beautiful way to set up Harvey as Gotham's white knight, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah, I think it was an accurate portrayal of Harvey.
Mm-hmm. What were you gonna say?
He gives him the "Buy American Made Guns" line at the end. a nice touch.
Yeah, buy American made next time, not China. And I think it's interesting because we do deal with Lao a little later, so maybe that was a little dig, little connection there. Or I could just be looking too much into it. And like Ian said, it's just an American a little love to America.
Well, I do think
after he gets out and does the interview, the one thing I wrote down was Dent winning hearts in Gotham right away.
What were you gonna say?
Think that the buy American made quip is another perfect example of what makes Christopher Nolan so special in this movie. Is like, if you watch the Batman, the new one with Pattinson, the dialogue is not witty, whereas throughout this whole series it's constant. Like, you get it from Bruce Wayne and Alfred, you get it from Lucius Fox, you get it a lot from, obviously the villains, but you get it a lot from Harvey Dent as well, with just the quick wit.
Yeah, it is a little more
and I
quick.
think that's one of the I think that's one of the things that keep this movie moving as well.
Yeah, super fast paced. Good point. That's a good point. I like how they tell both movies to have humor in them, but both tell them in a very different way. And you're right, this one does utilize like quick whips a little bit more, and it does work very well for its favor.
It's a very good movie for lines.
A lot of good quotables in this movie for sure. 100%. All right, so the next thing I wrote down is after that. Oh wait, did I write? I think I wrote down a quit. Let's see. No, I didn't write down. No, I did. Why leave something like that to chance? I make my own luck. When Harvey's flipping the coin for the first time and talking to Rachel Dawes, just a beautiful Harvey Dent like line on saying he makes his own luck, because when you find out it's a two-sided coin of the same side, it's a trick coin. It's not
it's also
a true
the
heads and
juxtaposition where at that point in his life I'm making my own luck. And
yeah,
at the end of the movie,
I control
he's leaving
it.
everything up to chance.
Yep, 100%. Shows the fall of Harvey Dent. Shows how far he goes and the loss of confidence he has in himself. Good point, Shuby. 100%. All right, the next thing I wrote down after that is Harvey meets with Jim Gordon and wants to meet with Batman. We find out that Harvey and Jim Gordon aren't necessarily like they have the same idea of what they want to do in stopping crime, but they're both viewed as scumbags. Like, Dent views Gordon's office as like fully corrupt. They have corrupt police officers, whereas Gordon views Dent's office as like corrupt DAs and judges, when actuality they're both right.
Right. And he also has a bad taste in his mouth because of internal affairs.
And what they called him,
nobody
Two-Face.
Likes internal affairs.
And how he had the name because they said he was Two-Face. They called him Two-Face, and he didn't like that nickname that they had for him over there at Internal Affairs. And I think it's very good just characterization of building up this guy of Harvey Dent and showing like when the turn happens. I'll say this, before I always thought we needed another movie, but when the turn happens, I think Nolan laid enough groundwork to show like, hey, this guy, it was coming, like who this guy was. And now with this turn, it makes it feel worth it. I don't think at no point does the turn not feel worth it, is what I'm trying to get at. Because they do build it. And this is an example of building it. So the next scene I have after
Bruce Wayne.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Oh,
now we get to Bruce Wayne.
Well, when Mr. Reese talks to Lucius about how Bruce Wayne's antics are embarrassing, we see him sleeping on Lau's thing, but then we turn out it's all a facade because Bruce Wayne just wanted to get to know Lau and see if he had some shady stuff, and tells Lucius, cut the case. And I'm like, oh, nice. I'll say this movie, as much as I am anti Christian Bale's Batman, Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is perfect. And that's something that I need Robert Pattinson to build to. I prefer Pattinson's Batman, but Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne, just that moment of him being like, oh yeah, no, I knew this. I just wanted to take a deeper look at the books. That's super Bruce Wayne-y. And that was a very good Christian Bale moment. I really like that as like a Batman fan.
Christian Bale does billionaire playboy real well.
Yes, he does. And I think American Psycho helped him have the juxtaposition of the other side of it.
You can tell with that he plays that Bateman character a lot. But that moves into like the dinner stuff when he's like coming in there and he's like a dick to Harvey Dent and has this ballerina girl who hates Batman.
and has one of my favorite lines in the thing. Let's put some tables together, Harvey. Oh, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Sure they will. I own the place. Loved it. Like, yeah, Rachel, you're with this DA. I'm Bruce Wayne, bitch. You left me for that fucking skunk. I own this bitch. And I'm with this fine ass ballerina. Let's get everybody together. But this scene makes you really like Harvey Dent because he understands what the Batman is doing is just. Another line I have from that is she was like, Gotham City needs heroes like you, Harvey. And he was like, nah, I think we need heroes like the Batman. And then Rachel goes, who appointed the Batman? And Harvey goes, we did. All of those who allowed scum and villainy to take over this city and infest and not do a damn thing about it. And when Batman heard that, he was like, oh, I kind of fuck with Harvey Dent. I'm kind of fucking with him. And then he gives the classic line of, okay, fine. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And then at that point, Batman was like, I'm in. And he gives him a great Bruce Wayne line. No, you don't understand, Harvey. One fundraiser with my pals and you never need a campaign again. All of that whole scene was just beautiful dialogue, one after the other.
Well, it was the same thing with the Lau, meeting at the beginning where he, at first glance, it just seems like he's being a dick and trying to get Rachel to, compare the two of them. But it's another one of those covert situations where, okay, no, he's really
trying to get to know Harvey.
Batman right now. Yeah. Because earlier, there's a scene with Batman and Gordon in the vault after the Joker robs the bank, where he asks Gordon, do you trust him? And then,
you're right.
Does his classic Batman disappearing. So now this is the point where, Bruce / Batman realizes, okay, this is a guy we can bring into the inner circle and he could really be beneficial to us because his ideology is exactly the same as ours.
No, 100%. That and I love, and that's one thing that I got to give Bale credit for is he knows how to wear the Bruce Wayne mask, but at the end of the day, he's still being Batman the whole time, and Bruce Wayne is the mask, and he's figured it out. And that's something that I got to give Nolan credit for with this movie. Like, he does that perfectly, and this scene encapsulates that beautifully. Now, the next thing I have after the dinner is Joker meets with the mob. Oh man, and the way that Joker calls out loud, talking about, I know a squealer when I see one, the man in the TV's a squealer, and like tell him, oh, y'all bought this suit. And of course, the off magic, let's see a magic trick, bow, head on the pencil, walking out with the suicide bomber thing to get out of there. Beautiful scene. If the dinner scene set up Bruce Wayne as this badass, then this scene sets up Joker as like, okay, these guys are both masterminds in their own right at deception, at intelligence. They're both batting 100 when it comes to cerebral antics.
It's your first Joker laugh too, and it's
eerie.
It sets the tone of eerie setting for the rest of his portrayal.
100%. Ian, what'd you thought of the Joker scene with dealing with the mobsters?
I laugh every time he says, I'm going to make this pencil disappear. And also, like you guys say, it's the perfect introduction, I guess, to who the Joker is as a person. You really get the full weight of his personality in that moment. But like you say, you see that he's not just some crazy guy in a bunch of clown makeup. He's got a good plan, no matter what the scenario is. Later he tries to paint himself as just, oh, I'm kind of just fucking around and doing whatever comes, next. But no, it's very methodical, just like Batman.
Very calculated.
So it sets him up as the perfect counterpart, the perfect antagonist to Batman, because they are both so, involved and detail oriented.
As Joker later says, one is an immovable object and one is the unstoppable force. And you see that throughout this movie the entire time. So the next thing I have after that, did I write down a quote? Let's see. I might have. The
next thing I have is Bruce Wayne takes the ballerinas on his boat, pimp.
Oh, yeah. Is that the next thing? Wait.
That's pretty much what happens. Like, they get out of where, like, I guess this is.
I wrote Harvey meets with Gordon to send. They decide to send Batman to Hong Kong, and Batman's like, I'll go get him. You're right. And then Bruce goes to get Lau. Yeah. In the boat.
So Alfred's like, we need an alibi. And then you see Harvey and Rachel walk up to the thing and it's like, Bruce Wayne takes ballerinas.
And then Bruce is like, Bruce is like, Alfred, can you maintain while I leave? Alfred's like, oh, you don't have to tell me twice, Sonny. And he goes, drops the tray of drinks and is like, I'm going to get these bitches.
No, that's not what he said. It was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
What he said?
No, he was like, can you tell me the Russian for apply your own bloody suntan lotion? Alfred was not having a good time.
I thought this was like, oh, I'm going to fuck with these bitches moment.
No, definitely not. You got to go watch that scene again. Alfred was pissed, dude.
I thought at first, well, like now that Bruce is gone, I'm no longer the butler. Now I'm the playboy about to go get these.
I think it's a little bit of both because I think like he says exactly what Ian said, but I almost think it's like almost like a quip, just to be
like I'm done with the butler stuff right now. You're gone. I'm about to go get with these hoes.
No, you're nuts. Go watch that scene again.
Yeah, rewatch.
Let us know in the comments. Was Alfred trying to go get them hoes right there? I think so. Let us know.
I'm sure he wasn't not trying to go get them hoes, but at the same time, I don't think that was his primary focus. I think he was still fully in butler mode at that point. Because at that point, it's like dad taking care of the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
making sure that this alibi works out. That is a good point.
I can't let these little kids destroy this boat. They're all going to get drunk and start doing drugs and being promiscuous.
Hey, it would have been a good time for Alfred. The next thing I got is Joker kills Gamble and recruits his men. Beautiful scene. And that's where you first get, you want to know how I got these scars? And tells him about his dad and how he got the scars, the initial story, and how Joker tells, as we see later, he tells the story of how he got the scars based on the person he's talking to.
Yeah, that's where I get the Why So Serious.
Yeah, you also get Why So Serious, son. Yep.
It was another beautiful touch of everything is calculated from the Joker, because in that original meeting with the Joker and the mob bosses, the guy puts out a hit on him and says, $500,000 for his dead body, $1 million alive. So the Joker takes that and says, okay, well, now I'm going to go fuck with you and pretend like I'm dead. And, these kids that I brought with me killed me. It's very, he has the ability to work in new moving pieces to his plan, but still be able to accomplish his goals.
Got whole new henchmen, and then gets Gamble's money, his whole operation. And then, like Schubert said, the tryout moment, gets the guys to kill the other guy. And now he has a whole new crew with all of Gamble's money and territory. Beautiful by the Joker. The next thing I got.
Now let's watch Batman work outside Gotham.
Yeah. This is why. And this is why I'm gonna get to why I lean more towards the Batman and why I think this movie can work without being called the Batman and making it more so Bruce Wayne's secret agent and Joker's like this terrorist. Him going to Hong Kong always trips me out. I don't like it. I just don't. As a Batman fan, I don't like him going to Hong Kong. He goes with Lucius Fox. But I do like Lucius in Hong Kong pulling the oh yeah, my phone technique. I love that. That was badass. Morgan Freeman kills that. And Lau's like, oh, you think you only accidentally wasted my time. Beautiful line. Like Ian called it earlier about the dialogue. The dialogue in this movie is really good. And like that was a beautiful line by Lau. And then Batman goes in, gets his ass, Bow beats his ass up, and then does the hook, which Lucius made for him earlier with his new suit, which we didn't talk about, which was a good moment when Batman asked him for his new tech. But the fishing line hook to get out of there, beautiful action by Nolan.
The sky hook, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You had your game on 100 in this movie.
Yeah, that was a great moment. Like that was a great action set piece by Nolan. Just the whole fighting of Lau's men and then getting out with the sky hook. Chef's kiss. Even though I don't like Batman in Hong Kong.
Why do you not like Batman? Like, who else was going to go get him? The cops can't go get him. Harvey Dent's obviously not going to go get him.
Well, who's going to go get him? Play it up where the Joker is like, Batman has no rules. So like Batman can go get Lau because he has no rules. He has no rules to live by. This is the cops.
No, I understand. I understand in the story, Ian, why it has to happen. Like, there's no one else that could get him. I get that 100%. I'm not saying it doesn't work as a story. I'm just saying I don't like when Batman leaves Gotham. Because to
like
me,
15 minutes.
But as
of
we
this
already
movie.
established that this is not the Gotham movie.
true, fair
This
enough.
movie is not about Gotham.
Fair enough. It's just about
But-
Batman and Joker. That's fair. I'm just saying, as a
But
Batman
it's
fan,
also,
it takes me out a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I think it is also a better worldly Batman sequence than any of the Affleck stuff that we saw outside of the world.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
no,
like,
I don't disagree with
Because
that.
I mean, like a lot of some good Batman stuff is him doing work outside of Gotham. This is the first time we actually see it, and it's like really successful.
It's him doing work outside of Gotham with other heroes. Don't do that. You know it's I don't. You know it's him doing work in Metropolis with those soups. Don't do that. He's not just going to Hong Kong. Batman's just not out there going to Hong Kong. He's going to Nanda Parbat. He's going to those places. But like, whatever. I'm just saying, I didn't, I'm iffy on
so
it.
you must really hate the first movie then. When the first, hour of it is
wait. I like the first movie because that's part of Batman's story of going train. He has to leave Gotham to come save it. He has to learn. I love that. That was awesome. But you're not protecting the city. He'd have got loud before in the comics.
I know it's with Superman, but like he goes to Metropolis in this animated series, Superman the animated series. Not
It's
to
beautiful.
go with Superman, but it's to follow
the
Joker. So
yeah.
he's doing his own thing in different cities. So, I mean,
But
he does this.
And also, I okay, let me say this. Maybe I would have preferred if it was a DC city.
Okay.
No, I think that's what it is. The fact that his Gotham feels like Chicago and he just goes to Hong Kong. Why couldn't he have gone to the Asian DC city? There's multiple names. That's all Nolan had to do was Google DC cities and then type and use one. That's all I'm saying. That clarifies what I wanted then.
All right.
Makes it feel like we're
not Batman enough.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like it doesn't. That's exactly what it is, Ian. It doesn't feel Batman enough for me, comic book wise. Like this movie's really grounded in like I said, the fact that this movie works if you take off the name Batman. That doesn't sit well with me. So I just would have preferred, make it a little bit more Batman. And you could have been grounded. Just call it a DC city and keep it in the universe. But beautiful action, loved it. Next thing we got after that is they arrest the mob members and the judge finds a Joker card. And we start seeing all these different city people with Joker cards.
Will the real Batman please stand up?
Yeah, and he captures the hockey pad people. It's like someone's gonna die, or like every day, or something like that, or like 2 people are gonna die.
Brian.
Yeah,
Brian thinks he's Batman.
He told him stop. Bruce told him stop, but no, he kept fucking around with them hockey pads, and now you got by the Joker and you're dead. Sucks to suck, bitch.
And it was Joker's TikTok video. Joker had himself a TikTok video.
Joker's Vine. It was Vine back then. My guy was on Vine. Oh shit.
Well, I thought the scene with the mayor and Harvey Dent was really good as well there. Because Harvey
Brian's body pops on him.
Yeah, because they have the scene where they arrest all of the mobsters, and then Harvey is sitting in the mayor's office, and the mayor's like, "Look, dude, like you did good work here,
they're
but
gonna be
now
coming
it's
after
all on
you."
Like,
yeah,
not only the criminals, but also the people like the cops or the government officials or the judges that were being paid off by the criminals, who are now having their paychecks affected. So you got to be ready for that shit. And then he turns to look out the window, and that's when
boom.
Brian hits the window dressed as Batman.
As a kid, that scared the shit out of me. That was like one of the most scary moments as a kid. Like I'll never forget that in theaters. My brother started crying instantly when he saw that. My dad definitely shouldn't have brought my brother to see The Dark Knight. He was too young. Dude was like 3 or 4. My dad didn't give a fuck.
Oh my God. He was 3 or 4 in 2008?
He might have been 5. Oh no, no, he was 8. Because my brother is sequential by the year.
Still young.
That's still too young to be seeing The Dark Knight. Yeah. So, but whatever. Next scene I got after that, because that is a good call, Ian. That was a great moment when the fucking dude hits it's terrifying. Okay. Bruce holds a fundraiser for Dent, and this is where Joker goes. This is where Joker's plan gets into motion, where Joker goes after the commissioner, the judge, and then Harvey Dent. And the only reason why Harvey Dent was safe is because he was at Bruce's fundraiser. Bruce puts him in that door, locks it, and then goes changes as Batman. And that's where Harvey starts talking and sees the old man. Rachel stands up for him, grabs Rachel. And then we get our second Scar story, the different one, this time about his wife, because he gives a story based on the emotions of the person that he's with at the time. And then Batman saves Rachel thus again. And then, the judge dies. And so does Commissioner Lowe.
Some stuff I had in this sequence was when Dent is like any psycho ex-boyfriends you need to know about. That was funny because it's Batman.
Yep.
How did the Joker get the DNA for Loeb and the judge?
Yeah.
Dent, Loeb, and the judge.
Nope. He gets it from the corrupt DAs and the corrupt cops. That's how he gets it.
Yeah. Poison is so Joker. Car bomb is also so Joker. But I would have preferred instead of up if it would have been like some kind of like joke or like some kind of like drawing or something. And
she says, "Where am I going?"
Oh, and he says up.
And the cops are like, even we don't know. And then she opens it and it says up.
And she did go up. Yeah, okay. Good looking, Ian. There it is.
Nice. Yeah, I pay attention to things sometimes.
Why did Bruce go into a secret passage in front of those people who
just
had sex?
He doesn't have time to fuck around.
Yeah. Joker is so horny for Rachel. What is with Heath Ledger and the Gyllenhaals?
Also, it took him too long to get that suit on. Like, he got to have a faster way to get that suit on. He was gone for at least 15 minutes.
Well, he was trying to get Harvey Dent out of there as well.
He already got Harvey out. Harvey's locked in the closet.
I thought he said, because at one point Rachel asked him when they fall out of the building, is Harvey safe? And the Batman's like, yeah, he's good. He's out.
Yeah,
I got him out.
He's locked.
Well, he shows up somewhere later, so like he left, like he was out because like he shows up later on when they're like, what? I guess Den is probably dead too, and then he shows up.
I'm talking about in the party when how long it took him to change after he sees those people and they're like, oh, panic room. And he goes back to save Rachel from Joker. At that point, Dent is in that closet locked in. Alfred might have saved Dent for all we know, because Alfred definitely looks at Joker and then starts meandering to the other side of the room. That was definitely something I noticed this time. Like Alfred sees him and starts slowly moving away from all of that. I was like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, please. I'm just the butler. I'm not trying to fuck around with all this. I did think there was another good line. Schubert, you mentioned the psycho ex-boyfriend, but right before that, when Harvey Dent walks up to Alfred, Alfred walks up to Harvey Dent because he says, you want some champagne or whatever. And Dent is like, oh, you're Alfred. Rachel talks about you all the time. You've known her whole life, right? And Alfred says, well, not yet, sir. And I thought that was a good foreshadowing moment there.
Yeah, true. And he laughs at it like it's a joke. And it's like, nah, bro, she's about to die.
Yep. Yeah. So, and that's another one of those things you catch, the second or third time through.
Good call.
But I thought, so you have this party scene. And the Joker throws Rachel out of the window and Batman goes to save her. And then they just cut to the next scene. Like the Joker's not still up in the penthouse. Like, what's the resolution there?
I think the Joker
but he didn't find Harvey Dent. So like, why is that over? Like,
because
there needs to be more to that scene.
Fair. That's a comic book thing on, okay, I'm leaving because I know when Batman gets back, he's going to kick my ass. So to avoid a fight, I'm gonna leave and fight later. That's what that is.
They filmed it and it just got edited out.
Yeah, but you're 100% right. That is, they literally just like, why does he leave? Well,
yeah,
he
just
leaves.
Like, okay, well, clearly the Joker and his like 30 henchmen are still up in Bruce Wayne's penthouse. So like, what? And not only that, but all of those like
the guests,
people,
yeah,
like, is the Joker just like, all right?
Also, I think he thinks the cops are coming too. You got to assume that the cops are on their way at that point as well.
Fair enough, but you could at least show them leaving.
Yeah, true.
Like
I don't
just
disagree
completely
with that.
cut to a different scene on a different day that has nothing to do with what we were doing.
Yeah, we cut to dumbass Reese trying to blackmail.
Yeah, Bruce.
Which is a hilarious scene in its own right. That's quintessential Morgan Freeman right there. That's why you need to go watch movies like Lean on Me, Schubert.
Okay. So then the next thing I have is Oh, okay. So yeah, Reese tries to do the whole blackmail thing. Shit's not working out. And then they do the plan. Harvey, Gordon, and Batman do the plan to trap Joker. And then Gordon pulls the wool over Jordan's Joker's eyes. We get the iconic truck falling over, and then Batman and Joker playing chicken before Joker gets arrested.
Oh, dude, you skipped
I skipped
over
some shit. What I skipped
over the whole mayor.
Oh yeah,
assassination.
The mayor assassination. Yeah,
where,
yeah.
You know, you think Gordon's dead, and then they go to his family's place, and the wife's like, "Fuck you, Batman."
Yeah, true. And that, but that
and
sets
then David
up,
Dasmalkian shows up,
and that sets up the whole scene. Why everybody's like, "Oh, Gordon faked his death, and that's why he got one over Joker." Yeah,
they're surprised when the guy who got DNA from 3 public officials doesn't have an authentic fingerprint.
And we do get the story with Joker Michael Caine
would be sniping.
And they got the Michael Caine story of like, he just wants to see, the madman just wants to see the world burn. That's sort of the Burma thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I did skip over some stuff. But that chicken scene, great.
Oh, and Batman, there's a scene where Batman has to go talk to Maroni and he's throwing hands in the club. And I'm like, well, this looks familiar.
Yeah, that did look familiar to the Batman. You're right. He does throw some hands.
Yeah, you got Harvey Dent, going after Dasmalkian, like yelling at him.
Well, and I want to highlight in this chase scene with the Joker, a lot of times in a dramatic scene like that, especially a long shot like that, where there's multiple parts of the chase, a lot of the times directors or, whoever will use music to build the tension there or the feeling. It's all natural sound. All you hear is the clicking of the Batmobile, the cars, whirring of the engines, the explosions from the bombs. I thought that was another really interesting stylistic choice from Nolan to just be like, no, we're gonna. It makes it feel much more real because the only thing you have to focus on is now the actions of these villains instead of getting lost in the music and the emotion of the whole thing.
And it's beautiful in a way.
It almost makes it feel like you're there more than it would with the music.
100%.
I think that had to do a lot with since they were filming that with the IMAX.
And then it capsizes with the fucking truck falling over, which is one of the most intense moments when you see it. And then after that, Batman and Joker are playing chicken. It's like, is he gonna kill him? Is he gonna kill him? And then Bruce Wayne's just screaming. It's like, nah, you can't kill him. Can't break the rule.
Well, and I want to know, I feel like I've read about this before, but when Batman flips the truck over and the Joker gets out, he gets out with a machine gun and he falls. And as he gets back up, the machine gun pops off a few times. I want to know if that was like something that Nolan had scripted as to how the Joker was going to get out of this car, or if that was just like Heath Ledger putting his own spin on things, or if he actually just fell over and then decided to keep going. There are a couple other instances in this movie, like the hospital scene. Yeah, the hospital scene. Ledger ad-libs a lot of things. But I want to know what was the, behind the scenes of that moment, because it's something that's always stood out to me as like, okay, why did they choose to keep that take in there? Was it on purpose? Was it something that they went back and looked at in post?
Might have just felt more natural
with that. Yeah, something to that effect.
That seems like it was an accidental fall.
With that. He kind of
definitely seems
like
playing
it up, and then he actually stumbles, falls over, and then just kept it in there.
We just got to keep it in there. Leo stabbing his hand in Django on the knife, and it starts bleeding. Accidental. Got to keep that shit in there, and that feels like one of those. That's a good point. I never even thought about that one.
I have a few things from the whole sequence. Like, so before even the chase happens, you have Rachel, and Alfred's talking to Bruce, and Bruce is like, yeah, as Batman, you have to make the hard and unpopular choices. That's the luxury you get as being Batman, and you're not a hero, which gets played into later. Dent turns himself over as Batman. I was like, Harvey Dent always wanted to be Batman. Rachel goes to Alfred and gives him the letter.
Yeah, the fucking
and
letter.
That was when and on the rewatch, it's like, oh, she knows she's dead. Like, she gives him the letter. She knows she's dying, and she even says goodbye to Alfred.
She does.
So when there's a flaming truck in the middle of the road. You know it's a trap, idiots. And when he gets in the bat cycle, he takes out all the mirrors on like these cars that he goes by, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, do you think that Gotham has Batman incident policies for insurance?
They
like,
should.
Is that going to be covered on your insurance?
Because, bro, if my mirror just broke, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, and it's like dozens of cars. It's not like one guy's mirror that's blown off. It's mirrors on both sides of him all the way down. So yeah, that's another one of those things where they're like, oh, Batman will pay for his crimes later. It's like, what, insurance fraud? Like,
my favorite thing
what are
that
they
she
gonna
wrote
get him
down.
at?
My favorite thing that you wrote down, she was, didn't always want to be Batman.
He did. That's
I
why
can do the White
that's why he
Knight
said it.
and the Dark Knight at the same time.
I'm gonna be both. She's a biracial
I'm not missing this
girl.
opportunity. Oh my god!
And then catching back up to where we are. That's when we see that Gordon is alive.
Yeah.
And then I put, but he's definitely in the doghouse with his wife.
Oh, 100%. You can't fake
You can't
your own
fake your
death and then
death.
go home to your wife.
And your kids? Like your kids thought you were dead, went to your funeral, cried real tears over you. What the fuck?
Yeah. If I was the wife, I'd be pretty distraught. But if I was the kids, I'd be like, well, Dad, what the fuck is going on with you, man? We got to talk about this, Dad. Is there anything?
The job
like
is not worth it, bro. The job is not worth it. You're not even Commissioner Gordon.
The son is young Joffrey Baratheon, so fuck him.
Yeah, it is Joffrey. True. All right.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Fuck that kid. Next thing I got is after the conference. Oh, Batman and Joker have the iconic confrontation in the GCPD. We get the Joker clapping, and we get Batman pushing the edge. Jim Gordon coming in. Stop that! Don't kill him! Don't kill him! And then they realize, oh shit. Harvey, Rachel, who's gonna choose who? And Batman goes to choose Rachel. Turns out it's Harvey. Rachel dies. Batman doesn't even save Harvey. Harvey's face explodes.
Well, he saved him. Harvey didn't have to go pour gasoline all over himself.
Yeah, he's too busy flopping around like a fish.
Rachel! And he's just and his mouth's just in the water.
Don't even let this girl get out of last
that
word.
Scene where his mouth is in the gas and he's just always sticks out to me. His mouth looks so weird in that fucking scene.
Well, it was a really weird camera angle for that shot. Like
on the side.
He's already he's got his hands behind his back and he's looking for something to cut the ropes with. But like, why is knocking the oil drum over going to help you in that scenario? Like, are you just praying for a rusted edge on the bottom of that oil drum to be able to cut your hands? Like, I don't know what the thinking was there. I mean, obviously, if I'm in a hostage scenario, I'm not going to be thinking my clearest.
Maybe break the chair. It's a wooden chair.
It's something. I mean, there's got to be something else that you can do besides just knocking over giant 1,000-gallon containers of gasoline. It's not going to help your scenario, especially if you're looking at a bomb in front of you.
Face gets burnt off. Dude's in the hospital. Turns into Two-Face.
Yeah, Batman did his best. Don't put that on Batman. That's all on Harvey.
So we're saying Harvey's at fault for that, not Batman?
Yeah, don't be a dumbass. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Catching up on all that, so like the interrogation for me was like one of my favorite scenes in general, especially like when Batman pops out of the shadows. I like when Joker says, "Those mob fools want you dead so they can get back to the way things were, but I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things forever." And then he's like, "Then why do you want to kill me?" He's like, "Kill you? I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. You complete me."
Yeah, great call. Great call.
Yeah, and then he talks about the morals and code and all that. But then
that's one of the best scenes in the movies.
I love a good ultimatum, and so does Nolan. Joker talks mad shit to the guard. You want to know which of your friends were cowards? Love that one.
Yeah.
Bombing the guy is so Joker.
Oh, that poor guy with the bomb in his stomach for Joker to get out. And then as he escapes, the classic head out the window in the police car. Classic scene.
So calculated again. Like, him finding a way out and like getting Lau and all that, and then them realizing it's like, oh, he was 5 steps ahead of them the whole time.
The whole time, and then having all their money, and then we'll get to the scene where he burns it all down. But as Dent is, they're bringing Dent to the hospital. Reese goes on TV like, oh, I'm gonna fucking, or no, it's you gotta kill Batman. Reese. Yeah, you gotta reveal Batman, and Joker's like, nah, you ain't revealing Batman. Joker's like, if y'all kill Reese, then y'all save a whole hospital from exploding. So then Reese is under.
You have 60 minutes.
Yep, and Reese is under GCP protection. Batman can't go out in the day, so Bruce Wayne has to go follow Gordon to make sure Reese doesn't die. Meanwhile, we do see Joker at the mob on top of all that money, and he was like, all right, I'm getting my half. Burns that motherfucker down, and then the Russian guy's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. And Joker's like, you ain't doing shit. Bow, guns up, all the henchmen. Later, Russian man, take you and your dogs out of here. You and them pooches.
He gives him the line, let's cut you up and see how loyal a hungry dog really is.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that felt like Heath Ledger's New York side coming out. It just felt like a Tony Soprano type thing to say, and the way he said it felt very Pauly, very Tony Soprano. Let's cut you up and see if your mutts are hungry after this or loyal after this.
If he had slipped into like a Brooklyn accent there, that would have just really put the icing on the cake.
The only things I like are gunpowder and gasoline, and what they have in common is that they're cheap.
AKA, I don't need that fucking money. Fuck yeah, beautiful scene by Joker. But then, go ahead.
Going through some of that, I got Alfred letting Bruce think that Rachel still wanted him.
Bad move by Alfred.
Full on burn the letter.
No, that's a good move. You can't have Bruce heartbroken about Rachel's death and also have Bruce heartbroken about Rachel not wanting him at the same time as him trying to save the city.
That's why
just too much grief at one point.
But that's why in movie 3, that's why he turns in crazy, man. He turns into a recluse thing and kicks Alfred out the house. Might have been better to tell him then, but you make a good point. Like, do you tell him now or do you tell him then? And it
Alfred's
didn't work
like,
out
if I tell him right now, it's gonna absolutely break this guy,
and he's not gonna be able to beat Joker. True.
Yeah, we're gonna be fucked. So I'm gonna take this note with me. We'll talk about it another day.
And it did fuck him in the long run.
Yeah, it comes back to bite him in the third movie, but
and then you realize that Gordon should have listened. The other thing I have is that Gordon should have listened to Harvey Dent. His men
were corrupt. Yep, facts. And we find out most of Gordon's men are corrupt, and they were all working for the mob. Batman saves Reese because in the car, Gordon's men finds out that one of his moms in the hospital. He's trying to kill him to save his mom. We find out that Martinez was corrupt as well. And then we get the hospital. Oh yeah, Ramirez, not Martinez. Ramirez is corrupt. Then we get the almighty hospital scene with Heath and Harvey Dent.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal scene.
Beautiful. Like to me, when we do best scenes, it's gonna come down to interrogation, hospital, intro, and then ending for me. Those are like, and then you can maybe say the China scene too, because that is a good one.
Well, and this is another important moment to point out the improvisation of Heath Ledger, because when they set up the explosives as he's walking out of the hospital to get on the bus, the first like round of smaller explosives that blow the windows out go off, but then the big one that's supposed to take down the building doesn't. And so Heath Ledger stays in character.
Yep.
And turns around with his detonator and just starts clicking it like he's
that was
confused.
Very Joker.
And then it goes off and he, kind of reacts to it and then runs onto the bus real quick. So that's another one of those moments where it's been confirmed that was, not
Ad-lib.
scripted.
Yeah.
But again, I'd like to go back and see what the deal is with him falling over and the machine gun going off, because that one always stuck out of my mind. It's like, okay, what's going on there? But this hospital scene, adds to the legend of Heath Ledger, I suppose, as an actor, and really, adds a nice touch to the hospital scene in general.
Mm-hmm. And like Schubert said, when he said the quote earlier, that was on one of the best quotables. And then Joker pointing the gun to Harvey, taking Harvey Dent's gun and pointing to him, talking about he's chaos, an agent of chaos. Beautiful scene.
And then Joker gets a hard on when he flips the coin.
Love it.
Yeah,
now we're talking.
Because he was like, "Oh, you're evil now. Fuck yeah! Like you're actually gonna kill me. Like Batman's not gonna kill me, but you would. Let's play this game. All right." And then Faith was in his hand, and then both go their separate ways. Joker goes to set up his final battle with Batman, with everybody in the boat to do the social experiment, and then Dent's just go and capture all of Gordon's men to prove that they're fucking corrupt.
Yeah, the one last thing I have before we move on to that sequence is, when he is in the Bat Lambo and gets in front of, stops the truck from ramming into the thing. I love the scene with him and Gordon. Yeah, the Bat Lambo.
It is the Bat Lambo.
When he gets out
the Lambat
thing and Gordon's like, "Bruce Wayne," he's like, "You did a brave thing," and he's like, "What? Trying to catch the light?" he's like, who was trying to save whatever. And he was like, "Why? Who's in the car?"
And then Reese sees him and they make eye contact, and Reese was like, "You saved me." He's like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up, bitch."
Yeah. And then he looks at Gordon again.
Hospital?
He's like, "You don't watch the news much, do you?" Yeah.
See, that's what I mean, man. The dialogue in this movie is so much better than the dialogue in the Batman.
Don't do
which
that,
is not really
Ian.
fair.
Don't
it's
do
not
that.
Really fair of a take.
Because see,
it's not
I don't
a fair take. I know.
Yeah, because I don't know if I agree with that.
Second movie. This is the second movie of this series. They've had time to build it up, and also B.
It's different.
It's like a sad emo Batman.
Don't do that either. He's God. I hate both of those takes. I hate both.
He's not a sad
rewatch Batman Begins, because the Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins is a jaded. He gets in that scene where the people are at the mansion. He's like, get out of here. Like, it gets super drunk.
Like, you got to think. We'll talk about it at the end. But I do not hate the dialogue in the Batman. Different movie, noir, but great.
If you look at the total amount of dialogue in The Dark Knight versus the total amount of dialogue in the Batman, it's not even comparable. So it's just two different styles.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
the Batman is more about the feeling and the emotion and the tension.
And the words matter. Like each thing they say, they matter in that thing. Where this one, it's like,
whereas The Dark Knight is just constant. Like, it's almost like more of a Monty Python effect, where you just have one-liners the whole time. Not to that same comedic extent, but that was more of the feeling is, okay, we're going to try and keep this light and also keep it pushing. And we're going to throw some great foreshadowing in there. Like, they utilized it a lot more, in my opinion.
It worked. I definitely like, we have so many quotables. So I definitely agree with you in the fact that the way that they utilize dialogue for this movie definitely works for this specific movie and what they did. I cannot disagree with that. Then the next thing I got written down is okay, so they set him free. Oh, and then the final showdown for Joker and Batman Begin. They set up all the social experiments in the boat. We got my man Debo not saying, "You don't know how to take a life," and then Debo throws the thing out like, "We ain't dying." And that white man in there was like, "Oh yeah, I'm killing all these prisoners, killing all of them. We're gonna do it." And pussied out, big pussy energy. I like, it would have been crazy to see him blow himself up and see his face. That'd have been wild.
Well, no, Batman makes the point right after that when the Joker's got him on the roof that, whether it be common citizens or prisoners, criminals, they've both now just showed us that there's still a whole lot of good in the world.
Yeah, there's hope in humanity. Sure.
Yeah. They both easily could have just.
But I would have loved to see that I'd have loved to see the civilians' boat blow up to see that guy's face, because he was talking a lot of shit. That guy was like, "Oh yeah, we'll kill all these people. I don't care." You cared, pussy.
I love the tension of that ultimatum though, because like it's people you don't really know, and then you just like a whole bunch of different characters.
And one of my favorite lines in there is Lucius Fox saying he's gonna quit, and then Batman's being like, type in your name when you get in, let's see what happens. And then it just shows how much Batman, respects Lucius and like not keeping the sonar shit, this NSA shit.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I was like, Batman doing unethical monitoring sounds about right.
Your notes on this have been great, Schubert.
Okay.
Your notes have been great on this. And yeah, so does that. I like the final scene, how Joker has his dogs now, and like how he mixed up the hostages holding the guns, and then like his Joker people are the nurses, posing a conflict between
calculated.
Yeah, posing conflict between Gordon and Batman, doing that. Like now he's trying to cause dissension with Gordon and Batman because they've been so lockstep, because he knows that Gordon can't go against this. Like he sees who the hostages are. Gordon can't help but go try and do that, whereas Batman's thinking ahead. And then, Batman
has
ass.
to fight the SWAT guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets the
which sets up the beef at the end
against Batman.
Yeah. Yep, gets the cops against Batman again towards the end. And all that stuff happens later, which we'll talk about. But then we get the line, unstoppable force, immovable object. The people say the people stand firm. Batman hangs Joker to hang on the roof and wait till the cops arrest his ass. Beautiful scene. That whole ending part. Great.
The stuff I have is Dent was half right, like what Ramirez did. What did Ramirez think that they were going to do with Rachel? Her mom in the hospital doesn't want her to be a dirty cop.
Yeah.
Batman's sonar eyes, dope.
And I hated his sonar eyes, those big ass bulging things.
poor dogs. Batman is a dog murderer.
Yeah, he really has no regard for canine.
Hey, he had to get him out of here, bro. They was trying to kill him. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, don't tell the DC super pet dog, Kevin Hart's character. And Joker and Batman destined to do this forever. Joker has so many good quotes. Writing is unparalleled. I wonder how much was improv. David S. Goyer was the writer, so shout out to him.
I don't think he did. I think Nolan definitely came back because we've seen
Nolan
Goyer.
They co-wrote.
Yeah, I was about to say because we've seen Goyer's scripts after this. They ain't as good.
Yeah, he has some stinkers for sure.
BVS.
I mean, he did the Constantine TV series too.
Yeah. So that's why it's like I don't know, brother. But solid effort though from him and Nolan with the dialogue for sure. Anything else you got on the ending, Ian, or the Joker ending? Because we'll get to the Dent ending in a second.
The Joker ending was perfect because throughout this whole movie, he just wants to die.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every scenario he puts himself in is either, okay, this could go according to my plan, and that would make me happy because then I get to do more fucked up shit later.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I can die and be out of this hellhole.
Yeah, and not have to deal with this bullshit anymore. So Batman throws him off the ledge and then catches him. And the Joker's like, man, you couldn't just let me go, could you?
No.
Which is not only a callback to the we complete each other thing, but it's also like Joker being like, okay, man, just let me die. Like, I'm done with this nonsense.
Very
My
killing
plan
joke.
Is complete.
Very killing joke. And like wanting to die, get out of there, and Batman can't do it. Set up the sequel for Joker and Batman very well. Just so it sucks that, Heath Ledger passed and we weren't able to get it. Yeah, so me and Ian had to go take some bathroom breaks real quick, but we're back.
So make a little Dark Knight real quick.
I made a pea night, so I just have to just let a little clear / yellow. Well, not yellow. It's like clear.
Can we cut this out?
No, I'm keeping
Can we edit this out?
I'm keeping this. This is there. So, but
we need to hear your description.
But all right, so we talked about the ending of the Joker. The final thing is we have to talk about the ending of Harvey Dent, which I think the Joker ending was super strong. I think the Harvey Dent ending was a tad weaker.
Yeah, it was really abrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this whole buildup with the scene with Gordon and his family.
It felt like he should have escaped.
Well, it felt like that. Batman gets shot and then jumps up and tackles Harvey Dent off of the balcony or whatever they're standing on. And it doesn't seem like that fall would be enough to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't kill Batman, and Batman had the same fall.
So does that mean that Batman killed Harvey Dent, Schubert? Are we accepting that? Because if so, Nolan's Batman killed him.
I don't know if he killed him. It definitely knocked him out because he's just laying there unconscious. But even that doesn't.
I don't believe he's killed. I think like they reference him or something in Dark Knight Rises.
Nah, he's dead, bro. Harvey Dent is dead at the end of this movie because that's why Batman takes the fall. So it's like that Batman was the villain behind all this and not Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent died.
Well, then if we're saying anything, I'm saying that young Joffrey killed him. Because he probably could have reached for him.
Wait, I'm about to Google, did Batman kill Harvey Dent? Because I think that's a question. Like, I think and if he did, that makes me view this movie a little different.
Well, yeah, because they say at the end, the conversation between Batman and Gordon is, his reputation died with him. We're going to preserve his legacy because it would do way worse for the city of Gotham to have everybody realize that he was this, scummy guy towards the end of his life, rather than just keep, the image of Harvey Dent clean and be able to have that as like a beacon of hope still. Like, Harvey Dent's no longer with us, but he was a great guy. He was, trying to clean up the city. So maybe that'll inspire some other people to do the same. Whereas if you ruin that perception of him, then it's like, okay, even the guy that we thought was like our white knight was a shitty guy as well. Then what's the point?
Okay, so Batman did kill Harvey Dent, but he did it to save the boy. So like he inadvertently killed him. So I guess that's acceptable, but still really fudging the line of Batman breaking the no kill rule. But also it makes sense why he's this Dark Knight and this Avenger and this guy, all the stuff that Jim Gordon says, because yes, he stands for justice, but he will be viewed as this menace. He's this silent guardian, this watchful protector, a Dark Knight. I wrote that down at the end for best quotes as well.
In the movie of Ultimatums.
Mm-hmm.
Another ultimatum.
When the Joker says during the interrogation scene, "I'm going to make you break your rule tonight,"
and he did. And he did. Yep, through Harvey Dent. Crazy. So yeah, so that's the end of the scene rundown. Let's pick the best scene. What y'all got for best scene? This is tough.
Oh man.
I'm torn between the intro, the interrogation, the finale. Well, the finale's at the bottom. And then the chase scene with the chicken scene. I'm torn between those four. Really good. I don't know where to go. Like, I really don't. Because like the intro is so great. The chicken scene is great. And the interrogation scene is great. I think it's between those three for me. We can cut the finale out because the finale is like whatever.
It's really hard to pick a scene. It's almost like you got to pick a sequence.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because like
I do really like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the sequence that I like the most, the hospital sequence.
See, I forgot about that one too. That's a good one. So you're picking hospital?
Yeah.
All right, solid. We got one concrete. Ian, where are you leaning? Because I feel like me and you are having difficulty choosing this. I definitely do.
There's just so many good ones. Like it's hard to point to a bad scene in this movie. Other than like maybe the action sequences.
Because even the mob scene where he pushes his head on the pin is great.
I think that's what I'm leaning towards.
Damn.
I think that's the one I'm going with.
Fuck, that's a good one. Okay, so you got that one. Schubert has hospital. Am I gonna go chicken? Because chicken's impeccable, man. Like
that is another great scene.
Yeah, I'm going
between that and the intro scene for me.
I'm going Joker. Chicken. Yeah, I'm going chicken. Where the 18-wheeler tips over, falls out, and he's shooting the thing where we have the inadvertent stumble. Like that's an incredible fucking scene. The intro is my secondary, and then the scene Ian chose is my third, and the scene Schubert chose is my fourth. Because that where he pops the pencil, that's iconic. That is just fucking incredible. But like y'all said, so many good scenes, hard to choose. Not too many bad scenes in this movie. Like I don't think there's really any. If we want to be honest, like maybe Ramirez talking to the guy in the bar when Harvey Dent walks up to flip the coin. Maybe that's the only bad scene, but even that I thought was the good shit where that's Avenger Harvey Dent go and get his revenge on everybody. So, c'est la vie. But all right, do y'all have any best quotes or did we say them all? Because I said all mine.
Yeah, I think we said them all.
I said all mine.
Okay, cool. All right, next up we got let's do six man of the movie first. This is interesting. Let's set the starting five. Batman, Joker, Commissioner Jim Gordon,
Dent,
Alfred.
Oh, did we say Rachel?
No, we did not.
But Rachel's only in half the movie.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I think Alfred's more quintessential than Rachel.
I think so as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this might be our first ever unanimous starting five.
Starting five? Okay, nice. So then would six man be Rachel? No, fuck no.
You could make a case.
Six man for me is Morgan Freeman.
I was gonna say it's either her or Lucius Fox.
Yeah, Lucius Fox is 6 man for me, 100%.
There's just not that many other characters to choose from, really.
Lau.
I would say Maroney is even a bigger character than Lau.
Yeah, Maroney. Yeah. Maroney's up there.
Reese.
Not a Reese. Yeah.
No,
Reese.
he's like 11th man.
Yeah, I'm going with Lucius Fox, man. I think this is an easy one for me.
I can't
would
figure
say
out
Rachel.
who else it would be. Yeah.
I would say Rachel because there's a lot of like, especially in the scene before the party, like you still have that love connection between Batman and Rachel.
Yeah,
and
but
like
she
the
pisses
reason
me
that
off.
he, well, yeah, she's shitty, but the reason that he wants to, give up the mantle
is for
is
her.
not only, it's not because he thinks Batman is done or because he's done being Batman. It's because he wants to go be with Rachel.
And then, like,
even though he driving force,
even though he likes
actions.
Dent, he's still doing all that for Rachel. Like, it just so happens that he likes her, which likes him, that it makes it easier for him to do it than if Dent was a scumbag.
Exactly.
Schubert, who you going with? Because both are great. Because, like, I'm gonna be honest, Lucius has some of the best dialogue. Like that moment where Lucius is talking to him, where he makes the sonar and they have the conversation of "I'm gonna quit if you don't do that." That's a beautiful scene, man. It really shows their relationship when they're talking about the tech stuff. It's always great. The loud stuff in Hong Kong, I think Lucius makes that amazing with the phone switch. Like, Lucius has some very good moments in this movie. If that's why I'm gonna choose him, he is another Alfred for Bruce, and I like that Bruce has two parent figures almost watching him, and then a big brother. It is Alfred, Lucius, Jim Gordon. Those are like his pseudo parents, and like I think each of them matter for a different reason.
Well, and you go to your point that Nolan kind of makes a secret agent Batman. He's
Q.
We're not, yeah.
This is James Bond essentially. He's Q. Yeah.
Alfred's M and
Jim Gordon's Moneypenny.
Yeah, Moneypenny. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So
I would have to say Lucius too, because I mean I think like Lucius is the one thing of this trilogy that won't get into the new trilogy,
and it's sad.
But it's sad because he's such a essential.
Yep, like out of all the things that I wish Matt Reeves would incorporate, it's Lucius, but I don't think he will. And I'm glad that Nolan gave us Lucius. I'm glad that some iteration of Batman we got Lucius in. So that I'm with you on 6 man. All right, loser of the movie. Who's the loser? Is it Harvey? No, it's fucking Rachel. I don't have to think on this. This is another one. Bitch is out of here.
I'd say her, Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez got fucked.
Ramirez's grandma's not doing so hot either.
Or Harvey Dent in his mouth going on all that gasoline.
I would say it's probably Harvey. I mean, yeah, Rachel dies. But like, you
Harvey loses his bitch, loses his face,
loses his will to be a good human being.
Yeah, and then takes a mouthful of gasoline. Glug, 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 glug. That scene, man.
Jim Gordon's sex life.
You don't think he get no more punani from his wife?
I mean, like he faked
not
dead
for a few months,
and then almost got his son killed. So
yeah, true. Yeah, yikes. Okay, so I like Rachel. I like Harvey Dent. I think Ian might be right. I think it's Harvey Dent. Harvey's the big fucking loser in this.
You know, you talk about the iteration of a one bad day. This is the one bad day from this movie. It's not the Joker. It's Harvey Dent. I mean, he 100%. Has everything going right for him. He is, succeeding in cleaning up the city throughout most of this movie. Yeah.
Has a good life, has about to have a wife, and then it just shows one shitty day turns his whole life sideways. No, you're right. All right, it's Harvey Dent. Maroney and the mob also are losers because they lost all their damn money.
No, fuck them.
They lost though. Like Joker burning that money, that's a big L.
They'll make it back.
I don't even think they're in the third one. Like, I think they're out of there. Like, I think like they got a whole new group of mob in there.
Reese is definitely a loser. Commissioner Loeb is a loser.
Oh God, the judge.
and then the Chechen, because he lost when he was with Scarecrow,
and he lost with Joker,
with the other mobsters. Then he loses all of his money, and then Batman kills his dogs.
Damn, Chechen. Is that who you're going with? I like that choice.
Yeah, the Chechens.
You're going with the Chechen?
Dark horse loser with the Chechen.
The Chechen lost in all phases. I fuck with that, Schubert. You know I do. Hell yeah. All right, winner of the movie. Is it Joker? Batman killed Dent. He proves what he wanted.
It might be. I mean, everything that the Joker set out to do,
he accomplished, except the social experiment. Yeah, except for the boat.
Yeah,
that's it.
But he still
won with Harvey Dent. Like the fact that Harvey Dent did what he did, he won.
Exactly.
The boat was like extra. The boat was like, yeah, I'm proving this to Batman. Like this is a side bet I got with Batman.
Well, the boat was more of an outward-facing thing, I think. I think the boat was more meant to expose the people of the city, whereas everything else was related to Batman, or at least to Harvey Dent, and how he could influence Batman through that.
See, I agree with you. That's
an outlier.
I think it is an outlier, but I think it's like more so to like, okay, Batman, you fight for these people. I'm gonna show you why you fighting for these people is fucking stupid. Because they don't value what you value, and they're evil at the end of the day. Like I think that was like just like a little side bet between them. Like, yeah, here you go. So I don't know.
No, I agree.
Joker might be because I don't think we can say Batman's the winner.
The winner of the movie is Gotham City Mechanics, because they got a lot of mirrors to replace. They're gonna make a lot of dough.
Yeah, a lot of work orders coming in the next few weeks.
The Chevrolet dealers are getting a bunch of new cars, man, and a bunch of new cars are shipping out. Because, like, think about the cars that got rolled over too.
Someone's got to fix that Lambo. That's going to be a pretty penny.
Side view mirrors,
all those police cars,
the roofs.
Hey, insurance companies eating right now, or are they losing?
Exactly.
Or are they losing because they're paying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're losing. Yeah,
that's okay. Bump those premiums up.
Hike up those. Yeah, okay. All right. So the winner, infrastructure in Gotham. Nice.
Stupid.
That's the HBO Max series I want to see. I want to see Gotham City life and the people who benefit off Batman fucking shit up.
You wanna just see like one dude that they follow around in Gotham?
What would it be called? A day in a life in Gotham? And then like we just follow around like the Parks and Rec crew of Gotham?
Yeah, I know. I almost wanted to be like a Black Mirror deal where every episode is like different and we're following like a different person who's just like raking from Batman and fucking shit up.
Like you follow someone in the Justice Department, you follow someone that's like a hot dog salesman, you follow a car salesman, an insurance salesman, like all these different, like a teacher, and you see how life living in Gotham affects them. God, it must suck being a teacher.
I think you could do it as like a Broad City type of deal where Batman's just like a background character.
Oh yeah,
you follow two people living in the city.
You never show them. I see y'all. You have Black Mirror, you have Broad City. I want Parks and Rec, a style show where we're just in Gotham seeing like this group of people in their lives.
Yeah, whoever's like cleaning up the wreckage.
City planner's office?
Yes, or like an insurance agency or something like that.
Like, you know how in Iron Man, what is it?
Damage control?
It's
damage control. In Iron Man 2.
Yeah, the people
cleaning up.
Cleaning up all the damage, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That shit would be
Department of Public Works or something?
Something like that. I'd be into that with Gotham. So, winner, I got Joker. Ian, who do you have?
Oh, man. It's probably the Joker, even though he gets arrested at the end.
Schubert, who you got?
I got the Mechanics.
I love the answer. Schubert's been batting 1,000 this episode. His commentary has
really
been great.
on it, man. Okay. We need to take a 2-month break more often.
You came back ready, man. Okay, so best actor of the movie, is it just outright Heath Ledger?
Yeah.
No need for us to even debate that.
Absolutely.
All right. So best supporting actor. This is where we can have fun. Who do we think was the second best actor in this movie? Is it Bale? Is it Morgan Freeman? Is it
what do you
Michael
mean by
Caine?
supporting?
Like, okay, this is basically the second best actor of the movie.
Yeah. He's just saying who did the second best.
Yeah,
so
who did the second
talking
best?
About a traditional sense.
Supporting. No.
Actor.
Just like, who was the second best performance after Heath Ledger, essentially?
David Dastmalchian.
Stop it. Is it Gary
It might
Oldman?
be Aaron Eckhart.
Oh shit.
That's
a left fielder. Okay. You're going Aaron Eckhart. I'm not mad at that. Because he did get a lot of jobs because of this.
And he has the best character development of any other character in this movie. True. I mean, probably any character at all in this movie.
True. He actually had a great character arc. I'm not mad at that. All right. Yeah. I'm not leaning towards Bale. I can let y'all know that now. I'm either leaning towards Morgan Freeman or Gary Oldman. Like, that's where I think, or Michael Caine. That's where I think I'm at with those three.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ian might be on something there because, like,
with Eckhart, he might be
talking about someone who came into the movie. Best movie before that was The Core, and
came out
notorious for being and like comes into a movie with some weight and actually like put on a performance that was worth something,
and got him all the roles after because of this one performance. No, that's a good point. I'm not mad at Eckhart. So are y'all both going with Eckhart?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
All right, I think I'm gonna go with Gary Oldman. I really like Gary Oldman's performance in this. I think Gary Oldman does a great job as Commissioner Gordon. In Jeffrey Wright, I thought he was the best Commissioner Gordon. Now it's time. Batman versus Dark Knight. Now, in terms of overall story, I think I'm leaning towards Dark Knight. It was a tighter story than the Batman. But in terms of the Batman himself and like the overall comic bookiness, I'm leaning towards the Batman, obviously. I like the Batman's Jim Gordon more than Gary Oldman's. I like the Batman's Batman more than the Dark Knight's Batman. I like the Dark Knight's Bruce Wayne more than the Batman. Alfred, I think, is more towards the Dark Knight, but I think that's just because in the Batman, we didn't get a lot from Andy Serkis's Alfred, but I did like Andy Serkis's Alfred a lot. I like the mob more in the Batman than I do in the Dark Knight. And I like Gotham more in the Batman than the Dark Knight. I think the Dark Knight might be a tighter story, but I think I like the Batman's movie as a Batman story more with the Batman. That's my overalls right now. How y'all feeling?
I kind of agree with a lot of that. I mean, I definitely think that from a movie perspective, The Dark Knight is probably a better movie.
Yeah.
The Batman stays more true to the subject.
It's a better comic book movie, in my opinion.
And it gives you, and like you said, it's a better Gotham. And when it comes to acting, I feel like the best performance individually came from The Dark Knight.
But the overall
best overall ensemble comes in the Batman because there's
no miss.
And right. Just left and right, people acting their ass off.
Penguin, Dano, Falcone, the Falcone in theirs with Turturro, Serkis, Pattinson, Kravitz. Everyone kills.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. And if you're like even comparing small things, I think that both could have a better Batmobile. I was never really that big of a fan of the Tumbler.
Oh yeah, I'm not. But see, I like Pattinson's Batmobile a little more. I do because it reminds me of the animated series. It reminds me of that Car of Tomorrow muscle car that Kevin Conroy's Batman saw, and then it had the turbo booster in the back.
So I don't know,
but that's fair. Hey, but you dislike both Batmobiles. Nothing wrong with that. Ian, how do you feel about the Batman versus the Dark Knight?
See, we talked about this a lot in pre-pro, but I just still don't think it's fair to compare these two movies yet. On the one hand, you've got the Batman, which is an introduction to a new Batman. So it's more in the vein of Batman Begins for me, even though it's not an introductory story necessarily. It's still an introduction to this new character and this new Batman universe. Whereas the Dark Knight, you're already entrenched in the lore of the Christian Bale Batman world by the time the Dark Knight starts.
And he's had a semi-evolution. He's already evolved.
Yes. Well, and I think for me, the other two movies influence my opinion of The Dark Knight. So I would be remiss to say one is better than the other when we haven't seen the completion of whatever the Robert Pattinson.
So you're judging it overall and not individually. That's fair.
I can't separate out The Dark Knight as a standalone movie the same way that I can as The Batman as a standalone movie right now, because there's other things that influence The Dark Knight from Batman Begins, and there's things that The Dark Knight influences in The Dark Knight Rises. Like, you already have the full arc there, whereas the Batman is still so fresh and new. I'm going to need to see how the other ones play out before I can judge which of the two Batmans I like better.
More. That's fair. I'm not mad at that. But if I'm judging movie versus movie one, I got the Batman over Batman Begins by a lot, by a country mile. It's not even close. And I do think
Batman Begins is better than the Batman?
No.
Oh,
I think the Batman is better than Batman Begins by a lot.
Okay.
Like, I think the Batman, in terms of comic book movie, is right there with the Dark Knight. Like, I think if you ask me what's the best comic book movie, part of me wants to say the Batman because it was such a good comic book story. Like we were talking about in the beginning with the floodlight. Like, the way Matt Reeves set up the floodlight just showed straight up comic bookiness. It felt like Batman the Animated Series. Whereas the Dark Knight, I still say this, like, it feels more like James Bond. Like, I feel like the Dark Knight works as James Bond because that's what Christopher Nolan wanted to make. And he was just like, I'm gonna make Batman as like, because I can't make Bond. And I think in the back of his mind, he was always trying to make a secret agent story less than a Batman story. And I think it hurts.
It's almost like you can see it more after you've seen Tenet. It's like,
yes, 100%. Like, and I think that what helps Matt Reeves' story is that's 100% a Batman story. I know people draw comparisons to Seven, but when you take Batman out of that movie, it doesn't work. Like, it really doesn't. Like, the Bruce Wayne character doesn't work. Like, the Riddler stuff doesn't work. None of that stuff works without the Batman comic book stuff. Whereas if you take it away from the Dark Knight, I still think the Dark Knight works as a movie without it. And that's why comic book wise, I lean more towards the Batman. But like Schubert said, overall, as a better movie, I think the Dark Knight's a better movie, like, just overall. So solid. That's where I'm at with it. Nice. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let's get our ranking. Now, this I won't be mad wherever we rank this. Where y'all going? 1 through 10. Is the Dark Knight about to be the running back king and surpass good? What's our top one? Goodfellas?
I think it's Godfather.
Did we do The Godfather? I swear we did The Godfather.
Yeah, no, we did do The Godfather, but I thought Goodfellas was above it.
No,
that would be blasphemous.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We might have to redo We might have to redo Goodfellas then.
No, get out of here.
Yeah, The Godfather's number one at 9.6. Let's see if we surpass it.
Oh, I mean, I have it at 9. This at 9.5.
9.5. Let's go. Schubert starting off high. Ian, what you got?
Oh man, I would say 9.2.
This is a high Ian score. 9.2. I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go 9.4. Split the difference. Divided by 3. It is at a 9.3 repeating, 9.36666. So we're gonna rise that up to 9.4. It is the number 2 movie in the action drama category, because obviously Superbad has like a 9.8 rating in comedy. So we separate comedies from these types of movies. But shout out to The Dark Knight, 9.4, stamped second right under Godfather. That's incredible. It's over films like Goodfellas and Pulp Fiction, which is insane. I still think we need to redo Pulp Fiction. I'm gonna let that happen. We're gonna do it one day. The Wheel of Destiny is gonna choose it. So we shall see.
If we redo Pulp Fiction, I'm giving it a 4.
Oh no, you will not. No, you will not. All right, it's time for the Wheel of Destiny. Let's see what movie we're doing next for Run It Back. Tap the wheel to spin. Oh shit, my heart's beating fast. Oh shit! It is Sicario!
Oh, thank God! Finally,
nice.
Finally, I've been craving like a movie that I hadn't seen yet.
Nice. So the next movie, not this upcoming week, but the following, Denis Villeneuve, Sicario. Very interesting because me and Schubert had that conversation in the beginning of Denis Villeneuve versus Nolan. We've done a Denis Villeneuve movie before in Blade Runner 2049.
Which we actually, the date that we're recording this 1 year ago, we released the review of 2049.
Nice. So next,
I saw it on my Facebook today.
Denis Villeneuve is one of the directors we've done more of his movies than others. Like, I think we've done one Tarantino, one Nolan, two Scorseses? I think we've done two Scorseses, Goodfellas, and oh no, that might be it. We might have just done Goodfellas. Okay, so yeah, Denis Villeneuve, the most we've done. Top director of Run It Back right now. Second movie. Interesting. Okay, so Sicario. Ian, have you seen Sicario?
I have not.
Oh, shit. You haven't seen it either? You and Schubert?
Nope.
Oh, fuck. This is going to be dope. I'm excited. Sicario's great. Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and Emily Blunt, her best role ever. So, going to be good. So, y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. Ian, tell the people where they can follow you at on social media.
You can follow me on Twitter at IanBWT. You can follow me on Instagram at IanHawley12. I'm hoping to put out some new music soon. I've been working on a lot of like acoustic guitar stuff lately.
Fuck yeah.
It's a big switch from the R&B that we had before. So I'm hoping to put out like 3 or 4 songs sometime in the next month or so.
Hell yeah. So y'all make sure y'all go follow Ian and check out his stuff.
Is your clip from when you were on TV on YouTube?
It's definitely on my Instagram. I'd have to go check with the people who run that show to see if they have a YouTube page, but it's on there. It's on Facebook as well. Just my name on Facebook if you want to.
So yeah, go follow Ian and go see him perform live on TV.
Fuck yeah. Schubert, should I take off Sicario off the wheel now that we've done it? Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right, out of there. Our wheel is set, man. All right, Schubert, tell the people they can follow you out on social media.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ashubert14, Letterboxd AdamBWT. Same with TikTok, even though I haven't TikTok yet. This summer maybe.
You need to get on it, man.
But you can listen to the Bros Who Binge podcast. Next week we'll be talking about Warner Brothers and how they're budgeting and how that's affecting things. God damn. So, but this week we talked about Under the Banner of Heaven.
Yep.
Star Wars. We Own the City. We talked about Star Wars, what's happening with that. The Boys season 3 trailer.
Yep.
And some other trailers that were out there. So.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all check that out. By the time you guys hear this, that will be out. Y'all make sure y'all follow Shuby, follow Ian. You can follow me at LynBWT on Twitter, Letterboxd, and my anime list for all just my thoughts on movie and TV. For more thoughts on movie and TV, check out me on TikTok at Lyndon James Burton. Follow me there. My TikTok the community we're building is beautiful. Go follow me over there and follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think on Twitter and check out all the amazing podcasts. But we're back. Like I said, not next week, but the week after. Sicario, baby. Be on the lookout for that. Oh, yes, the journey is continuing. We're back reviewing movies. Glad to be back with you, gentlemen. But for Schubert, for Ian, my name is Lyndon. You guys have a good one. Until next time, peace.